is a player that is still developing. Like, I don't like the whole, 200 games is what you need to figure out an NHL defenseman. That feels kind of arbitrary. Maybe it's 250, maybe it's 300. Again, he's a right shot defenseman who is a really, really smooth skater. And when he's playing his best game, there's few players in the organization that can move the puck like him. And I think it's just about, confidence in him every single night, because when he's at his best, he can really change a game. But that consistency kind of piece is the thing that's been missing for him. So I think taking the ice time away is probably going to hurt his chances of developing that consistency, but we'll see. It's not my decision to make.
To make a decision as well is Ilya Samsonov. I mean, he's back in the net. He's the number one player, number one starter right now, as Joe Woll is still out. Where are you at with the belief level that he's just a capable NHL goaltender right now?
Yeah, I'd probably say a 6.5.
Okay.
7, that he's just a capable guy. I do think it's interesting kind of listening to Sheldon Keefe and watching the way he's really downplayed the return of Joseph Woll. Like, anytime Joseph Woll's name is brought up, you can almost just see Sheldon kind of raising his arms to say, pump the brakes, everyone. Like, he's not going to save the season. So I think there's been a concerted effort from the Leafs to just kind of put a bit of pressure off Joseph Woll. Because, again, we're assuming, given the way he played in the playoffs last year and given the way that, he played earlier this season, that he's going to be the guy when he comes back. I think they've done well. You asked about Samsonov. I think they've done well to kind of almost quietly usher him back in. And I think the noise around him has really quieted. And I think that's been a good thing for him. Like, he hasn't looked super, super stable in goal, but he was never really that quiet of a goaltender to begin with. But he's stopping pucks, and he's looking more and more relaxed. Like, these are little things, but he's making little cracks, digs at himself post-game. He made a joke about how it's tough to get up after saves now because he's not 18 anymore. And, those are the little things that you want to hear from him, because that just suggests he's kind of, and I know this sounds very, zen, but it just suggests that he's at peace with himself and he's at peace with where he is mentally. Because if he's not, we saw what that was like, right, through December. I think he's capable enough to be part of a tandem with Joe Woll, and then come the playoffs, they'll see who's kind of, who deserves the majority of the starts. But I really think that once Joe Woll is back, I don't think either one of those goalies will take the net for good. I think it'll be a true tandem because there's question marks about both of them. But in terms of, being a tandem, 6.5, I've kind of talked myself into a 7.
Okay.
So let's stay with a 7 in terms of Ilya Samsonov looking like a capable NHL goaltender.
I love it. Let's end on that. Appreciate your time tonight. Enjoy tonight's game. It's a big one. Leafs and Stars up in about 15 minutes. Thanks so much, Josh.
Yeah, take care, guys.
That's Josh Cloak of The Athletic. Leafs here on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and across Sportsnet, 7 p.m., followed by Minnesota and Chicago as a doubleheader tonight on Wednesday Night Hockey.
It's interesting that he mentions how Keefe has been handling inquiries regarding Joseph Woll, right? Because he doesn't want the pressure, or Josh believes the pressure off Joseph Woll. You're not going to come in here and rescue the season. It's not about that. But I feel like that's partly about Ilya Samsonov too.
Oh, that's
right?
totally how I read it.
Like hey, you're not getting replaced the moment Joseph Woll comes back. This is your opportunity to take it and run. There are no assurances given to this guy who, it would be the number one goaltender if that didn't happen. But that's not the situation here. It's not Joseph Woll coming back and taking over. You are in control of your own destiny right now. I think it's a message to both goaltenders, and thankfully, the message works for both, I think.
It's a nice, I don't know, yin and yang.
Nice balance. Nice balance.
Like a yin and yang.
Sure.
Because one of them really needs that drive. One of them maybe shies away from the pressure, right?
We think.
We think, this is us trying to speculate goalies who are
We've been
always
psychoanalyzing goalies with the Maple Leafs this entire season, so why would we stop now?
We sure have. So Samsonov will get the net tonight. As we mentioned earlier in the show, we won't see Jake Ottinger tonight. We'll see Scott Wedgwood. So, goalie advantage possibly goes to the Maple Leafs, but the Stars,
But also a revenge angle because he's from the area.
That's correct. Today's a really special day. 1976, on this date, Daryl Sittler had a 10-point game as a Maple Leaf. Do you think we'll ever see another 10-point game?
No, I don't.
Ever.
Because we've gotten how many goals did Tage Thompson
He had 5 goals.
have a bunch of goals and then they just didn't play him in the third period?
True.
It's just we've got to the point now where even if you're having this ridiculous night where everything you touch turns to gold, every time you touch the puck, it's hitting the back of the net, the coach will just be like, you know what, that's enough. We don't want to embarrass the other team. And we'll never get those records challenged because for whatever reason in the NHL, we don't want to reach for those records. I'm not saying the Oilers didn't mailed it in last night, but even them, they came up one short of tying the modern day record. Again, that's a different story. But when you have a player who's having that special of a night as Tage did, and he just doesn't get the opportunity, that tells me it's just never going to happen.
So I just pulled up top points ever in an NHL game from 10, which is obviously today's history lesson for you all, Daryl Sittler. The next one that is within the last 10 years.
Sam Gagner? It's not 10 years.
Nick Schmaltz, 2022.
Nick Schmaltz. Yeah, I
from
remember
the
that.
Arizona Coyotes. He had 7
Remember that
points.
game?
The next, that's
Sam Gagner got 8, 15 years ago?
Sam Gagner, 8. Yeah, 2012.
2012, yeah.
Okay, so that's about it.
And that was one of those random nights. But again, it takes 2 more.
And
it requires the ice time.
That's a lot.
And it requires a coach that's going to be like, yeah, night. It just doesn't happen that way anymore.
All right, so we're going to do our full pregame show tomorrow, but after the break, sorry. But one thing I did notice, and I wanted to bring up with Cloak, was I feel like I've seen a bit more of an ornery Sheldon Keefe lately.
Oh, yeah.
And I wonder for you if that means pressure's off, he knows that he's not getting let go, or pressure's on, and he's like, I got to change how I communicate, how I go about things, because I could get booted in a minute.
Yeah, I think the pressure's on. And I don't know if it's hey, the shoe's about to drop. I don't know if it's that type of situation. But I do think Sheldon Keefe, with the advantage of having a couple years tacked on to start the season, there's financial stability right there, right? And you're no longer working for your best bud who brought you up to the NHL. And that's not the situation
What's that
anymore.
Voice?
I'm just saying there's kind of
your best bud.
I just listen, there was the Leafs
that's
suffer.
Your bestie voice.
That's my bestie voice. They suffer from this culture of a lack of accountability. And I think when the GM and the coach were working and moving in lockstep, it was why would you ever have to worry about anything? And I think the financial stability also gives Sheldon Keefe that lack of worry, but I think it functions differently where he's just a little bit more free to do and say as he pleases. What I worry about with this Leaf team is Sheldon Keefe coaching in a manner to keep his job when that's a bit short-sighted looking at the big picture, where you're not putting the Nick Robertsons of the world on the ice, and you're not trusting Tyler Bertuzzi's shooting percentage will ever turn around because you just don't like Sheldon, or you don't like Tyler Bertuzzi as a player, or at least as a defensive player. I just worry that these parts are a little incompatible. And if they are you ever going to get the best results? And are you just waiting for the moment where you dismiss your coach anyway? I just worry the same way Babcock and Dubas were oil and water. I don't think it's to that point now, but if there's any scent of that, it's not the best working condition for anyone to be in. Is it?
This group can.
They didn't have that many coaches.
Was this?
Sheldon Keefe's he's one of the longest tenured coaches in the league.
Okay, well, they had Babcock, they had him.
That's about it.
About it? Is that
they've had a lot of failure. That's it.
I guess you're right. And they've had GMs, so they've had some turnover, but maybe they do need a voice that's just a different ornery voice.
Where
maybe that's what Sheldon Keefe is doing.
You change a coach to make everyone start at zero, where you don't have equity in the company or whatever of the Toronto Maple Leafs, where you can do and say as you please because you're above the coach. If everyone starts at zero, maybe behaviors change, where there's some that don't have to really worry about changing behaviors because, well, they've been under Sheldon Keefe for so long. And what are his intentions other than to do what's best for him in this moment? And again, that's to win hockey games, but is it about big picture or the here and now?
All right, we're about to take a quick break. Maple Leafs and Dallas Stars tonight, 7 p.m. Of course, on the other side, we'll give you a look ahead at both of these teams, our players to watch. We did give you a couple in the first half of the show. Some revenge angles tonight. This is a heavy revenge angle game for both sides. There's a brother going after the CRA for $8 million. Does that mean that he tries to put the puck on net more?
Shots over the next contract already.
That's an interesting dialogue, folks. I don't know
Something tells me he'll be fine regardless.
How the CR viruses roll tonight, but we'll give you everything you need to know on the other side of the break. We'll take a quick break. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like salivagant are in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate, as in while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick single-family homes come with a long list of features you've always dreamed of. Gourmet kitchens, freestanding tubs, and even fully finished lower levels. Dare to compare and you'll see why it's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
It's a trip to the pharmacy for a quick assessment. It's meeting your new family doctor and feeling at ease. It's the more than 80,000 nurses and 10,000 doctors hired since 2018. It's care, when and where you need it. See all the ways we're connecting you to care at ontario.ca/yourhealth. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2 minute truck, 2 minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2 minute truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Hey now, what's up? It's Jose Metal Ambassador Mangan, host here at SiriusXM. Days on Liquid Metal, nights on Octane. Here to tell you about the brand new SiriusXM app. Check out my new personal page on the fully redesigned app to see all the places you can hear me, keep up with all the latest episodes, and more. Just search Jose Mangan in the app to find me, then keep exploring to add all of your SiriusXM favorites and new discoveries to your library.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
And we're with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning. Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act. And
weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think this year becomes a huge challenge.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on SiriusXM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top team, Holy Grail.
Real Madrid do that!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on SiriusXM FC 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound. Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate. Weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to SiriusXM FC 157.
This is Molson Leafs Hockey. On Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Maple Leafs host the Dallas Stars tonight at Scotiabank Arena, little Wednesday night hockey. Stars are good. It's been a little while since we saw the Dallas Stars. They're top of the Central on a 4-game winning streak. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. We've spent a lot of time here in Toronto and I guess across Canada talking about how good the Jets were and the Avs we saw roll into town. And they were nice measuring stick games. But the Stars still and have been a massive threat. And I think the Maple Leafs should see this as a big measuring stick game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Stars are a trendy Stanley Cup pick. Our friend Haley Salvian has them picked them as her Stanley Cup champion before the season. Didn't want to budge, at least last time we spoke with her. But she picked them for good reason. I mean, they kind of have the hallmarks of a potential Stanley Cup champion, or at least a threat to win the Stanley Cup, with a really dominant goaltender in Jake Ottinger, who the Maple Leafs will not see tonight. A number one defenseman in Miro Heiskanen. A lot of talent up front. Even the guys like Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn taking a little bit of a step back. Doesn't really matter because they've got that next wave of talent coming through with Rope Hintz and Jason Robertson. Mm-hmm. Like they are loaded up front. They run 3 lines deep at least, and they have a lot of depth at that forward position. So they've got all the hallmarks of a Stanley Cup champion. Do they have the high end? Maybe not, but the Vegas Golden Knights didn't really need the high end last year to win their Stanley
Aiden
Cup.
Hill as their netminder, who was like 5th in line.
Yeah, I mean, and he gave them Jake Ottinger-like performances, and he's doing it again this year. But I guess I'm more talking about Jack Eichel. And Jack Eichel was obviously this flashy, brilliant player, $10.5 million, made a lot of money right away, and was that type of guy, but kind of became less of that type of guy when he won with Vegas and more of a 200-foot player who's defensively responsible first. They weren't built like the Maple Leafs were built in that they have a bunch of high-priced talent up front. Dallas is similar. Dallas is very deep, and Dallas will definitely be a challenge for the Leafs tonight.
All right. We won't see Ottinger tonight. We will see Scott Wedgwood. He's, not Jake Ottinger, but he's actually having a pretty good season. 13-4-4 with a 298 goals against average, not the greatest save percentage at 899, but he's 5-1-3 on the road this season with a 914 save percentage. And the Stars themselves are the best team in the NHL point percentage on the road, 7.708. So you're having a team on the Stars who clearly have found some chemistry, clearly have found some sort of vibe on the road. They are producing at the highest rate. And the Maple Leafs have not played well at home. They don't have a great home record at all. Quite different than their road record. So I don't know, those two stats coming head to head, doesn't seem to fare well for the Maple Leafs, but they need a win. They had a tough one on Monday night against the Islanders, a classic revenge angle with, good old Pierre Engvall getting the win. And the Leafs are not comfortably in a playoff position. They're still fighting for that. They can't afford to be giving up regulation losses, which they don't do often, but they did on Monday.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't all bad, I don't think. That outing against the New York Islanders, I thought it was a competitive game. Probably a good showcase, honestly, coming out of an all-star break, coming off a long layoff. I thought Austin Matthews looked really, really dominant. Loved what I saw from him over all-star weekend. I think that carried through. But you're right. When you haven't won a hockey game in a while, I think it can kind of linger and stay with you and be a bit problematic if it lasts too long. So getting a victory over a really good team in Dallas and not letting it fester, I think is a pretty important thing here for the Maple Leafs tonight.
All right. So Leafs 5-0-0 in their last 5 against the Stars. Second longest.
It's a little surprising.
Yeah, that's crazy. Second longest active win streak for the Maple Leafs. The Flyers with 6 in a row. All right, we got lots of revenge angles for tonight. So let's take a look at our player to watch presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly. The Robertson Bowl. Let's start with that.
I think it's got to be Nick Robertson, at least in terms of from the Maple Leafs side. You have to scroll down a little. 6'5", plus 450 to score tonight. I just think there's got to be a little extra incentive when your brother's on the other side and when your brother's playing a starring role on the other side. But also, we know Calle Yarncroke is out right now, which means more opportunity for middle six wingers for the Toronto Maple Leafs, a little bit more ice time for guys that don't play the defensively responsible minutes or the unsheltered minutes per se. So Nick Robertson, maybe a few more shifts, a little extra ice time, maybe some opportunities to put the puck in the back of the net. So I'll take him plus 450 to Max Domi. That's not exactly the most help you'll get, at least in
But Max Domi has a revenge angle as well.
Max Domi's got a revenge angle as well, so maybe those two will combine.
I'm also going to give you Tyler Seguin, plus 225. He loves to play against the Leafs. He's got 35 points in 35 games against the Leafs. Hometown kid, want to put the puck in the net. Let's take a look at the Maple Leafs lines tonight. Nyes, Matthews, and Marner up on the top. Bertuzzi, Tavares, Nylander, Gregor, Domi, Robertson, McMahon, Holmberg, and Reeves. Reeves has just slotted himself back in the lineup,
He's
hasn't
back. Reebo's back.
Riley and Brody, Benoit and McCabe and Giordano and Liljegren, and of course Samsonov takes the net once again. The other Reeves thing kind of came and gone quietly, and he's holding on to that spot. Obviously, Maple Leafs dealing with some injury, but he has not looked out of place. I'll tell you that. Like, he came in and he's been fine.
Yeah, he's throwing the body around the other night.
Yeah. Not out of place.
Not like
for a guy that sat for like 4 months.
Yeah, I give him that. He's kind of like, you can tap him on the shoulder and get those handful of shifts out of him. Is it going to be overly impactful? Is it like he's fighting someone every night?
You know what? He's not minus 12, and that's kind of what the problem was. He had a goal scored against him every single time he was on the ice.
The season did not start great for Ryan Reeves, and I think, like we talk about this, hey, you haven't won a hockey game, that can fester. It festered. I think for Ryan Reeves at the start of this year, maybe a little bit of an injury, not bug, but just like more opportunity because there's injuries will allow him to quietly feel better about his game and playing a little bit more and just being a Toronto Maple Leaf without all the intention on him, maybe not making sure that you have a soundbite every single day for the Toronto media will a little stress off Ryan Reeves because in addition to playing more, it seems he's been talking a little bit less.
He's not planning as many outings on the road, maybe. Our producer, Armin, has a big-time Bertuzzi goal tonight. He needs it, though. He's been playing less minutes. He's been producing, obviously, very minimally. Hasn't scored in 15 games, has like one goal in 28. He is snake bitten. So shout out to Armin, who's like riding the Bertuzzi train tonight and wanted to manifest it for Arm Dog tonight.
In terms of like important goal scorers, I think he'd be right up there at the top of the list.
I think you could see some relief.
If one goal could actually change the way a player feels and his next shift, it would be Tyler Bertuzzi. Getting a goal would be a big thing, I think, for the beleaguered is a better word. Maple Leaf forward.
Well, Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph will have the call of the first period after the break. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
No one is getting you closer to the Super Bowl from a fantasy sports perspective than Fantasy Sports Radio. Jeff Ratcliffe is live from Radio Row in Las Vegas all this week at noon Eastern, talking to the biggest fantasy football legends and helping you set a winning daily fantasy football lineup for the big game.
Touchdown! Kansas City! San Francisco!
Your home for fantasy sports is Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87 in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
NHL All-Star Weekend returns to Toronto, and SiriusXM NHL Network Radio brings you all the action.
Pass and a quick shot. Scores! Matthews!
Lost for Crosby for the HP. He's good!
Hear conversations with all-star players and coaches. All-Star Media Day, player draft, skills competition, and play-by-play of the 2024 All-Star Game. 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend live, beginning February 1st on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Under review.
The National Hockey League, it's the number one league in the world. It's a tough league. It's not shinny. I never wanted to become a league where the stars get an extra step or two. And there is a real divide with some people who go, the NHL doesn't do enough for its stars. No, what we like about hockey is it's a team game.
Under review with Mick Kerr, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs trying to improve their home record that has not been very good over the last half season as they entertain the Dallas Stars tonight. And the overlords of the old onion bags tonight are brought to you by Superior Door and Gate Systems, Canada's top choice for automatic doors and security gates, security fencing, and bollards. Because security can only be measured by what it will save you. And it is Scott Wedgwood, the Ontario boy, in goal for the Dallas Stars, and Ilya Samsonov for the Maple Leafs as we are underway. The puck is down in the Toronto zone as Benoit taken to the boards, and a centering pass is intercepted by Nylander, and he'll skate it out, moving right to left on your radio dial to get it down into the Dallas zone. Round back of the net is Heiskanen getting it up on the wing, and the Stars break it out to the Leaf blue line, but back-checking diligently there was Nylander, and now a quick pass for Bertuzzi, and his shot was deflected wide of the net by Hakanpää. Down into the far side, Leafs dig the puck free, but the Stars are able to punch it out at center, and Jason Robertson trying to send it in has it go out of play, and a face-off coming in the center ice zone. Joe Bowen along with James Ralph Esquire.
What does that mean anyway, Esquire?
It's really important, and it means that you probably have a lot more money than you think you do.
Huh. Well, I know I turned down the cover of the magazine. I just didn't know what you meant by it.
Okay. That was a good magazine, too.
Sorry,
yeah,
that was the Inquirer. I'm sorry.
Oh, all right, fine. Brought to center and shot into the Toronto zone. Chipped by Brody. A centering pass goes high off a stick to the far boards. And now Marner is able to get it to Brody, who sends it up on the right wing, but it was too far for Marner to reach. And the Stars have sent it right back into the zone. Quickly played ahead, it up, gives it off there to Domi. Domi around back of the net, gets it back to the point, over on the near side, Giordano. Giordano trying to get it to the net, but had it blocked. And the Stars have launched it high to center ice. Trying to corral it there is Sam Steele. He'll get it down into the Toronto zone. Good pace here to the early going as the Leafs are able to break it out into neutral ice. Up on the wing for Doa. Gregor in pursuit, but it's sped around the boards to the far side. And the Stars will get it out in center and bring it down into the Leaf end. Joe Pavelski sending it down into the corner. Round back of the net. Domi is able to punch it up on the wing, but it is kept in at the blue line. Heiskanen now with it, trying to find his defense partner, and does. Working in now with a backhand pass. That was stopped. The rebound in front of the goal, and a sprawling Samsonov got a leg in front of that. Played up on the wing and back to the point. Heiskanen with a drop pass and a shot that didn't make it through the crowd in front of the net. And Robertson is able to get it out into neutral ice to get a change started for Toronto. Heiskanen back in, a backhand attempt there by Faksa, deflected wide of the Toronto net. Faksa sending it around the boards, and Heiskanen is going to trap it at the near point to keep it alive. And then an errant pass is going to slide all the way down into the Dallas zone. It'll be an interesting coaching matchup here tonight. The Dallas Stars roll 4 lines, more possibly than any other team in the National Hockey League. And the Maple Leafs do not. So it will be interesting to see the matchups that are presented here as Tyler Seguin in with a shot. That's knocked wide of the net by Samsonov. A puck still in the Toronto zone. Samsonov leaving it for Morgan Riley, and it'll be played off the boards and tipped down into Dallas territory, but it's going to be an icing call, and back into the Toronto zone it will come.
Well, to back up what you're saying, let's take a fourth-line player for the Dallas Stars. Now, pretty good numbers for Evgeny Dadonov. 10 goals, 21 points. But as a fourth-line player, and it's listed right on our averaging 13 minutes and 14 seconds of ice time a game. Pretty good, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Max Domi, who's considered a third-line player for the Leafs, is averaging less ice time by almost 40 seconds than Dadonov per game. So either the Leafs bottom 6 aren't good enough to play more, or they're not going to be able to produce until you give them a better opportunity, and that's obviously not for you and I to decide.
No, it's the old
chicken
axiom of the coach. Play me more, I'll play better. But if you don't play better, I can't play you more. And it's that has gone on for the history of this sport. Well, when they started using 2 lines, let's say that. Here the Leafs across the line. Bertuzzi trying to flip it in. That was knocked aside by Wedgwood. One of the things that Pete DeBoer likes to do is make sure that the hometown boys are going to play a lot. Now here's Tavares coming out from behind the net. Gets the shot away blocked. Came right back to him. Tavares working on the blue line. Gets it down into the corner. Looking for Bertuzzi in front there was Nylander, but couldn't make a pass. Tavares and now Bertuzzi in. That comes in front. Back to the point. Kept alive there nicely by the Leafs. McCabe. Tavares in the corner on the far side. Trying to get it back to the point, but it was intercepted. And just shoot it into the Toronto zone to get a change started. Giordano taken to the boards efficiently there. Sam Steele comes away with the loose puck and gets it around back of the Toronto goal. Pass intercepted though, and Nyes for Matthews, and now Marner. Marner flipping into the left wing corner. Nyes strides in after it. Spun around the defenseman, but the puck comes free. Back to the blue line. Marner couldn't keep it in. He is able to restore it, though, at the Leaf blue line and looks up the middle to find Matthews. Matthews, left wing side, bounced over Morgan Riley's stick. The puck sent back into the Toronto zone, and now here are the Leafs. Liljegren getting it up on the right side. Cross the line, Marner, who pulls up, sends it down into the corner for Matthews. Oh, he had Nyes in front of the net, tried to make a backhand pass, but it was blocked. Stars send it down into the Toronto zone. Both teams are changing. Up on the left wing is Robertson. The Leafs Robertson, and then took a high stick. And there's going to be a penalty here to the Dallas Stars.
I don't think Robertson is trying to draw the double minor, because the official is actually chasing him back to the Leaf bench to try to survey the damage. No, it is going to. The other thing, when you start looking at Max Domi or even Tyler Bertuzzi and the numbers not being there, Joe, and certainly you can contribute more 5-on-5. But the second power play unit gets next to nothing in ice time. So you're not going to build up some stats, power play stats or anything else that you can pad those totals.
Joel Hanley gets the penalty. And the Stars, in their last 5 games, have been a little porous on the penalty kill. They've given up 5 goals in just 10 times short.
Even though they're 8th overall in the penalty kill in the NHL.
And number 1 overall in shorthanded goals. Leafs dropping it at center. Matthews gets it in on the right side. Nylander walks the blue line, works to the near side on his backhand, banks it back to the point now to Marner. Marner works into the corner, gets it back to Nylander, doesn't shoot it. Dishes off to Riley, down into the corner. Matthews centering pass didn't work. He gets it around back of the net. Freed it up. Oh, a chance there for Marner to get it out in front. Nylander was waiting, but it went off a skate. Now Marner coming out in front of the goal. Tried to find Tavares at the doorstep, and it was knocked to the near boards. Nylander with it again. Works it back to the point to Riley. Riley to Nylander to the one-timer. Scores! William Nylander. A little give and go, and when he got it back, he wires it in behind Wedgwood, and the Leafs have opened the scoring on the power play.
As impressive as the shot is by William Nylander, Joe, Mitch Marner provided the screen. And we talked about this of late with John Tavares. Take away the eyes of the goaltender with the extra man. And as the puck is going back towards Nylander, Marner's in front and jumps. This might have even glanced in on a Dallas player before it got there, but I love the fact that you had Marner right in front of the goaltender instead of everybody being spread out around the box, which is the penalty kill mode that the Dallas Stars use.
7th power play goal of the season for William Nylander. 2nd most on the team to the 10 from Austin Matthews.
Only his 3rd in the last 12 games. And actually the other 2 both came in one game against Vancouver.
Leafs play it up at center. Domi trying to backhand it in, but it was knocked back in over the line. And against the boards, pushed out at center ice, but Gregor couldn't come up with it. Gregor trying to get to the bench for a change as the Leafs have it back in their own zone. Morgan Riley will draw 1 assist, and the Maple Leafs have a 1-0 lead. Stars punch it out at center, but it is intercepted and played right back in again. Rink-wide pass comes to Robertson. His shot is deflecting and going up over the glass and out of play. That was Jason Robertson. It was interesting, the 2 Robertson boys, obviously Nicholas hasn't played a great deal, but when he has against his older brother, he's 3-0.
And scored an overtime winner in the building against Dallas. I believe that was the first time they'd met.
Exactly. So it is a 1-0 Toronto lead. Nylander's 24th. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
It's where stars are born.
Hey everybody, Mike from Toronto Sports Insider. Thank you all for getting us over the 7,000 subscriber mark. Let's keep it going. Let's have some fun tonight in the chat. Smash that like button down below. And hey, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Turn that notification bell on so you can hang out with us every single Leafs game or Toronto sports event. Thank you all for hanging out with us. We'll see you guys soon. Let's get back to the hockey. Go Leafs, go!
And we're with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning. Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, well, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. It becomes a huge challenge.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots it. Score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Radio Network.
Face-off coming in the Toronto zone. A 1-0 Leaf lead on a power play goal scored by Willie Nylander. Now a centering pass. Oh, and a giveaway there by Brody. And a big save made by Samsonov. Cleared back to the blue line. Kept in, and another shot deflects wide of the Leaf goal. Where the Leafs have been guilty of.
And that play right there. Exactly. Brody trying to put it up the board, circling from behind his own net. Just puts it right onto a Dallas player's tape.
Brody after it in the far corner. Gets it now to Matthews. Matthews pushes it ahead for Riley, who gets it off Nyes into neutral ice. And the Stars trying to regroup along the boards, get it into the Toronto zone, poked back to the blue line, but then kept in, and a centering pass was deflected just wide of the Toronto net. Puck is in around back of the goal. Trying to come out with it is Jason Robertson. Robertson getting it back to the point. Heiskanen with a shot that deflected wide. Shots are 2 apiece, but the Leafs have a goal on the power play. At the point, Harley trying to keep it in with a shot, and that deflected just wide. Round back of the net. Into the near corner for Morgan Riley to push it ahead. Kept in at the point by Harley once more. Shot didn't make it to the net, but Jamie Benn is after it as he gets it back to the point once more. A shot! Oh, and a bit of an Irish two-step done there by Samsonov, and he managed to get his left pad in front of it when I think it must have been deflected down because he was lunging upwards, it seemed, and then had to snake that left foot out.
Unless he heard you, I don't think he knew he got a piece of it. But you're right. I think that was one of those mid-air deflections. It was about waist high and then bounced right off the left pad.
Do you really think he listens to it?
Well, even if you're trying not to, sometimes.
Shot from the point is blocked.
You project well. Every now and then I'll see him.
Thanks for the vote of confidence.
No, that's I think it's important in our line of work.
Here's the chance for Faxa getting it over the line, and it's turned over. Tavares getting it ahead on the left wing. In over the line it goes as Gregor was able to poke it in a little further. Tavares unable to come up with it. Nylander chasing on the back check, and it's cleared down into the Toronto zone by Dallas. Here's Tavares in across the line. Tried to find Nylander on the near side, but the pass was intercepted, then pushed back at center. And Benoit does a nice job at getting back there to intercept, but then an errant pass. Duchesne with it now. Had it taken away by Nylander. Flipped to the blue line, but not out. Nylander was flattened then by Marchment. In along the boards is Marchment. The Uxbridge native sends it around the boards to the near side. Played around back of the net for Seguin, centered in front. Good play by McCabe to tie his man up. The puck around back of the net. Penalties coming here. And McCabe and one of the Stars getting into it, but a high sticking call is coming here against Toronto. Mitch Dunning and Eric Ferlat are the referees. Jonathan Deschamps and Devin Berg are the linesmen. So the Stars go to the power play. Leafs leading 1-0. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like salivigant, peregrinate, nemophilist, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate. As in, while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
So when you gotta move, all moving day, think 2-minute truck, 2-minute-truck.ca, cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute-truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Heron. Experience a new level of luxury at Williamsburg Green. Your new single-family home will have all the modern features you dream about, even a fully finished lower level. Kitchener's newest master plan community with bike trails, parks and a new library. Williamsburg Green has it all. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Jake McCabe gets the penalty for high sticking at 10:54. And the face-off in the Toronto zone. The Stars are 32 of 142, which is 13th in the league at 22.5%.
4 for 23 in their last 8, but they opened the scoring in Buffalo last night. 2-1 win over the Sabres. A game that Jake Ottinger was the best player on the ice. He's backing up tonight. Ottinger, of course, was one of the goaltenders at the All-Star game over the weekend. Stopped 47 of 48.
Brought on by Pavelski. The veteran gets across the line, dropping for Jason Robertson. A shot. Good toe save made there by Samsonov. Played back to the blue line. Heiskanen keeping it in. Near side and a pass in front. That was blocked nicely there by Giordano. Kept alive by Heiskanen again. Back to the point. Robertson over on the far side. Looking for a return pass. He'll get it from Ben. Just kept in. Ben then loses it. And the Maple Leafs have intercepted, and Nylander very quickly sends it the rest of the way down the ice. Back come the Dallas Stars. Brought on at center ice now by Wyatt Johnston, the Toronto native. Got it in across the line. A pass back to the near side. Seguin shot. Blockered away nicely by Samsonov. Back to the point. Heiskanen. Now to Seguin. Closing another shot. That's high. And it's going to carry him off the end boards and slide all the way down into Dallas territory with 43 seconds left to go in the power play. Stars bring it out. Drop pass now for Wyatt Johnston. He hits the line. Works in on the left wing. Dropping it back to the blue line. Intercepted by Toronto. Pushed ahead for Nyes. Nyes with a break-in on goal! Backhand try. Stopped by the left pad of Wedgwood. Nyes trying to maintain possession back of the net. Gets it to Marner. Marner's going to backhand it all the way down the ice. But the Stars are going for a change. And so, despite hustling back there by Giordano, he had all kinds of time. Now Matthews playing it back into his own zone. The kill off the remaining seconds on the power play, and returning to the ice is Jake McCabe. Played in on a delayed offside that's going to turn into an icing against Dallas with exactly 7 minutes to play in the first period. And the Leafs have withstood the power play, and they have been rather proficient in the penalty kill over the last 5 games now. 11 straight kills for the Maple Leaf penalty killers. Am I wrong in that?
They gave up a power play goal last game.
Was it? I don't have that marked down. Maybe you're right.
No, you're right. I got 10 for 10 in the last 4.
Yeah.
You're right.
So by adding one for that one, it was 11.
I just didn't feel bad. I didn't feel bad about the last game. That's all. Didn't feel good.
Stars in with a shot taken on the chest by Samsonov. And no, you just didn't trust that I knew what I was doing, which is understandable.
But when we've got
actually, I couldn't agree with you more.
But when we've got the same thing written down,
one of us should figure it out.
My side of the debate is a little weakened. Oh, thank God.
Folks, as you well know, mathematics and stats are not our strong suits.
You can also see why analytics departments popped up.
And you can also understand why none of those have phoned us to see if we'd like to work for them.
Those guys don't know. We got to find somebody.
Shot down into the Dallas zone. A giveaway there for Domi almost. Now Matthews arrives on the scene to play it back of the net. Max Domi couldn't come up with it. It comes into an empty corner, and the Stars trying to launch it out at center ice have done so. And now play it to the Leaf blue line and down into the Toronto zone, courtesy Radek Faksa.
Well, the breakaway opportunity by Matthew Nyes show was only the third shot of the period for the Leafs. They got 4 now to the Stars 6. But Nylander scored on the second shot in a long drought after that.
He has it again in across the line. Tried to get a shot to the net, but it was deflected wide. Centering in front of the net. Centering and shot there by Riley was blocked before it reached the goal. Nylander back to the goal. Oh, he had a man out in front and Bertuzzi, but it went off the side of the goal and then
changed the angle.
Changed the angle, and Bertuzzi never got a stick on it. Played to the center ice area. Turned over at the red line. Cleared back into the Toronto end as goaltender Samsonov playing that rather close to the trapezoidal area. Now cleared down into the Dallas zone, and Tavares almost got a break there when Wedgwood gave the puck away, and now it is
another high sticking penalty coming up, and I believe is going to Dallas.
Yep.
But what do I know? It's Tyler Bertuzzi. Wow.
So the Leafs will be a man short again. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
SiriusXM NFL Radio's coverage continues before Super Bowl 58. Hear an all-access pass from Las Vegas as we talk with Hall of Famers, Super Bowl legends, and the stars of the NFL.
That's exactly where you want to be, right? Preparing for the Super Bowl.
Our panel of experts will get you ready for Super Bowl 58 between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. All week on SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
I'm with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning. Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play.
Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern
on NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
The Point
with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can't. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. It becomes a huge challenge.
Points
with Boomer Gordon.
1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM Radio Network.
Bertuzzi for high sticking at 14:44 on a bit of a phantom call, I think is...
I was still trying to get some kind of replay on it, but the play was in the corner to the left of Wedgwood when Tavares was going after it. Now we're not going to see it. But it was another 3 high sticking penalties, all 3 of them. The head snap has been the determining factor.
Pass in front of the net, bounces to the goal line and in. Hintz was right at the side of the net, but it may be Jamie Benn who actually gets the tip on it that bounced the puck over the shoulder and into the net, and right off the hop. On the power play, the Stars have tied the game.
And you'd love, not that it matters at this point, you'd love to see a replay of penalty, something that happened well away from any kind of scoring chance. But the second power play for the Stars has this game tied at 1.
9th goal of the season for Ben, just his second on the power play.
What this does, this goes off the top of the left pad of Samsonov, loops up just inside the post, drops over the goal line.
So we're tied at a goal. Bertuzzi hustling into the corner after it, had it knocked around on the boards. It sprang out in front of the net, but it's cleared to center ice. Nylander knocking the puck down, trying to gain possession, and now swings it up for Tavares. Tavares will chip it into the zone. Bertuzzi and Tavares after the puck, but both of them took kind of wide angles at it, and neither of them came away with it. Now the Stars get it down into the Toronto zone. McCabe tying up Marchment, and the Maple Leafs playing it off the glass to get it out at center. Mason Marchment is one that got away. Brian Marchment, of course, who passed away at the draft in Montreal a couple of years ago. But Mason was a farmhand for the Maple Leafs.
And Brian came in for Mason's first game as Leaf, which was in this building.
Yeah, here's a chance now for Holmberg in with a shot, and he sent it high and wide. Centering effort goes down into the corner. As it's played out into the center ice area. But Marchment came to Florida for Denny Malgin. And Malgin played very little for the Maple Leafs.
Great puck possession stats.
Yes. Yes, wasn't that was the be-all and end-all.
His entries were outstanding.
Heiskanen shot deflects wide of the goal. Marchment is a physical player like his dad. Not nearly as dirty as his dad. But a pretty good goal scorer now and a producer for the Dallas Stars. Heiskanen getting it out at center, had it turned over. Nyes looking to play ahead for Marner. Marner just slips it in and then peels to the bench. Leafs will change with 3:05 to play in the period, and we're tied at a goal. Both teams scoring with the man advantage. There the Stars in across the line. A pass in front of the net. Oh, and all alone there was Evgeny Dadonov, but it seemed to bounce over his stick as he tried to make a forehand to backhand move right along the goal crease area. Leafs get it down into the Stars' end, but it's quickly banked back out. And breaking in on the right side is Dadonov. Dadonov in and scores! The depth of the Dallas Stars showing here. Dadonov with a great move to get around McCabe and buries it for a 2-1 Dallas lead.
Well, they might have witnessed more than just the depth of the Dallas Stars. The turnover by the Leafs at the Dallas line basically looks like it's one-on-one from the blue line in. Bobby McMahon stops. Or no, this was the replay of a play that happened 8 minutes ago. We're going to see first. This one, it's bounced past McMahon. Dadonov, one-on-one with McCabe, just cuts to the middle. And the fourth liner for the Dallas Stars puts it right along the ice, middle of the net, to give the Stars a 2-1 lead, 2 goals and 7 shots. The Leafs at the other end have only mustered 4 despite scoring first.
So the Dallas Stars, Dadonov's 11th goal of the season, and a long shot is gloved by Samsonov and will be held.
A game-winning goal a couple of nights ago against the New York Islanders was 5-hole. And this was the same. It was a cut to the middle by Dadonov, but that 5-hole was wide open, wasn't it? I mean, you can certainly argue that a 1-on-3 guy shouldn't be able to get into the slot off the right wing boards.
Leafs have had some pretty good fortune against the Stars. They're 5-0-0 in the last 5, outscoring them 19-6.
Though the best
but Dallas has been the better team thus far here in the first period.
And the importance of specialty teams, right?
Yep.
You get the second power play, you tie it up, and then you bang in another one late.
Here are the Stars in over the line. Pavelski with a shot, a deflection, and that was knocked away by Samsonov as it was centered. Cleared ahead by Gregor to center ice, one-handed by Domi down into the zone. He goes into the corner after it with Joel Hanley, and the Stars will get it out into the center ice area, forcing Brody back into his own end. He gets it off on the near side for Morgan Riley. Riley, a pass ahead at center as it is shot down into the zone. It clears the glass. With 1:35 left to play in the period, Dellandrea and Suter draw the assists on the goal.
Well, like we said, you talk about the depth of the Dallas Stars and everyone scores. I mean, there's a fourth line player now that has hit the 11-goal mark. Even for Ben, only his 9th goal of the season.
Well,
but you know, here's a guy that was an Art Ross Trophy winner having an off year, and Dallas isn't.
The Leafs' fourth line doesn't have 11 goals this year. At the point, Riley with a shot that went high and wide of the net. pushed back out at center ice now by the Stars. Ahead for Tavares. Near side Nylander. Trying to walk the line. Circles back. Had it knocked off his stick. Double teamed along the boards. Then stole it back. Now trying to drive the net. Had it knocked back at the goal. Able to play it on the near side. But it's intercepted and banked out at center ice by Dallas. McCabe on the left wing. Dropping it back with 42 seconds left to play in the period. Benoit's pass intercepted by Hines in across the line. 2-on-1 break a shot, and that deflected wide of the goal. The rebound back to the point. Robertson keeping it in with a long shot that is swallowed up by Samsonov and will bring a face-off in the Toronto zone. And that is shot number 11 on the period. 4 for the Maple Leafs as Dallas leads 2-1.
I mean, let's face it, and Sheldon Keefe made a comment box after a Leaf power play saying this is the NHL. That's Pee-wee hockey stuff. But Joe, we've seen how many giveaways, including this last one, unforced errors that have led to scoring chances for Dallas. I mean, it's incredible the regularity of the miscues that have cost the Leafs.
Bouncing puck at the red line has Marner getting it back to the defense. Just 8 seconds left in the period, though. Liljegren trying to send it in, sends it down into the corner, and time is going to run out. So after opening the scoring on the power play, William Nylander with his 24th. Ben equalizes with a power play goal, his 9th, and Dadonov gives the Stars the lead with his 11th goal of the season.
And the key to the first period, high sticking penalties. All 3 that were called in the period were high sticking penalties. 2 of the 3 result in goals, 1 each by the Leafs and the Dallas Stars.
11-4 the shots favoring the Dallas Stars, and we will step aside for Ailish Forfire and Justin Cuthbert and our first period intermission. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
And we're with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning. Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Points with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can't. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. Becomes a huge challenge.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
NHL All-Star Weekend returns to Toronto, and SiriusXM NHL Network Radio brings you all the action.
Pass and a quick shot, scores! Matthews! Lost for Crosby for the HP, he's good!
Hear conversations with all-star players and coaches, All-Star Media Day, player draft, skills competition, and play-by-play of the 2024 All-Star Game. 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend live. Beginning February 1st on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at of all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland! Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter.
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
The National Hockey League, it's the number one league in the world. It's a tough league. It's not shinny. I never wanted to become a league where the stars get an extra step or two. And there is a real divide with some people who go, the NHL doesn't do enough for its stars. No, what we like about hockey is it's a team game.
Under review with Mick Kerr, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Radio Network.
Nylander with it again. Works it back to the point to Riley. Riley to Nylander to the one-timer, scores! William Nylander, a little give and go, and when he got it back, he wires it in behind Wedgwood, and the Leafs have opened the scoring on the power play.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Maple Leafs trailed 2-1 to the Dallas Stars after 20 minutes. And we were just hearing William Nylander get on the scoreboard, wired it. I said to Justin, should be Wireton Willie. So if our good friend Joe Bone's listening, you can use that next time.
Yeah, at least when we're thinking about when spring is going to come,
like,
right?
Perfect.
At least at this time of year, it can be Wireton Willie. And he definitely did wire that in. A power play blast from William Nylander. Nice to see him get on the board. He was definitely one of the stars of this past weekend, an NHL All-Star, his first time. But it hasn't been so great since he signed that contract. The production has slowed down. But William Nylander scoring goals, William Nylander being productive is of utmost importance to this Maple Leafs team. Yeah,
there's been a lot of dialogue around a couple Maple Leafs. Tyler Bertuzzi, William Nylander, Max Domi, just a couple people in a slump. Obviously, Nylander's had an incredible season so far. But when you look at when the contract was signed and you look at the production since, it's a worrying feeling in a sense, like, okay, did he let his foot off the gas now that he's got paid? So very important that he continues to contribute to this team because they're very top heavy. They're not finding any secondary scoring anywhere but Matthews, Marner, and William Nylander. So good to see him getting on the scoreboard tonight. But it was not really glamorous from any other Maple Leaf that period.
No, it wasn't. I mean, and you mentioned William Nylander and Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner and John Tavares obviously very, very important because this team is top heavy, and I don't want to forecast what we're going to see over the next two periods. But at least in that period, we saw the depth of one team sort of outshine the top heaviness of another. And this Dallas Stars team, if they are anything, it is deep. There is a lot of productive forwards down the list for Jim Nill and the Dallas Stars. And when you can go down to an Evgeny Davinov who can do what he did on a one-on-one play, I mean, there's not many guys at the depths of the lineup for the Toronto Maple Leafs with that sort of offensive upside. I'm not the biggest Evgeny Davinov fan in the world, but when he plays deeper in the lineup and he can beat an NHL defenseman in Jake McCabe one-on-one with relative ease as he did, I mean, that's just a little extra that you have in your lineup. It was not a great look for Jake McCabe there whatsoever. Davinov giving Dallas the lead with a 2-1 goal that was basically just one man beating the other. And those are sort of inexcusable, especially in big moments. And for a Leafs defensive core that is struggling to a man or has struggled to a man, or there are concerns about them being just flat out good enough. I mean, that was another example of just another team and another player getting the better of one of these defensemen.
I will say the second goal, 5 holes, Samsonov not looking the strongest on that one. It's going to be like a lot of ups and downs with him, I think. But first goals is like a tip-off Ben, or I'm not sure if it goes straight in or not, but it's a power play goal. Second one there is like a sleepy 5-hole goal. The whole team looked sleepy on that one. But Samsonov, got to have some of those because you worry about the trickle effect of a bad end to a period. You go in the locker room, he's thinking about it, he's sitting around. You got to get out and get back into the game. Maybe you get a goal early on, but we worry about Samsonov's composure at times like this, and that goal, you definitely want that one back.
Yeah, the thing about Ilya Samsonov is you can kind of tell when it's going to be a good night and bad pretty early on. And when you're giving up the goals that he gave, where they go right through you, like, again, don't want to forecast what's going to happen in the next 40 minutes. But Samsonov, in general, tells you how it's going to go pretty early. And that was not a particularly stellar period for Ilya Samsonov by any stretch of the imagination. And I imagine the next two periods are going to be pretty difficult to deal with as well.
All right, let's take a quick break. On the other side, we'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard and wrap up our thoughts before the second period. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Today, when it comes to following sports, a basic box score just won't cut it. Get the stats behind the stats with NHL Edge.
Hey everybody, Mike from TSI. Join our awesome community today. You see all those awesome emojis in the chat? See everybody's names rolling down the bottom of the screen here? Get your name in that list. It's only 99 cents a month. 99 cents, you can't even get a coffee for 99 cents anymore, guys. Join today. Click the description of the video. You'll see the link to join in the description. Let's get back to the action. Go Leafs, go. Let's finish strong, boys.
It's Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
Think two-in-a-truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think two-in-a-truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, two-men-in-a-truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we've introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herwin. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Williamsburg Green is everything you want in a community. Enjoy fabulous trails, parks, playgrounds, sports areas, and more. Our beautiful all-brick homes include luxury features you've always dreamed of, even a fully finished lower level. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
Unhibernate, a verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert here for your intermissions. Maple Leafs trail 2-1 to the Dallas Stars at home at Scotiabank Arena, and it was not a pretty start for the game, and the expected goals show that as well. If you're a stats nerd, you're going to love this one.
Yeah, I mean, Jim Ralph making fun of the stats nerds, maybe not directly, was my highlight of the first period, actually. So we'll give him a little bit more to chew on. 9% expected goals for the Toronto Maple Leafs at 5-on-5 in that period, meaning that 91% of the expected goals belong to the Dallas Stars in that condition. 5-on-5 is the most important condition, which basically means that it was pretty much downhill sledding for the Dallas Stars in that period, at least when the teams were at 5 apiece.
Yeah, it's just when the Leafs aren't getting those top three guys cooking early on, and Willie did get on the scoreboard, the depth is just so blatantly not there, right? You've got that fourth line, Ryan Reeves now back in the lineup. Like, we've talked about what the Maple Leafs needed at the trade deadline quite a lot. and you can kind of go whatever direction you want, whether you sometimes you feel like you need a goalie and sometimes you feel confident. And then obviously defensively, things to be like certainly a point of, I guess, importance. But if there's only 3 guys scoring goals on the team, like you need help in your bottom 6 as well. So if you're thinking about what Brad Treliving's got to figure out in the next couple of weeks, like this is really important hockey for the Maple Leafs to show or to prove or to not prove that they should sell or buy. Like it's a really important time for them to make some decisions.
You're really, really easy to play against when the threats are minimal. When there's only a few who actually trouble you, who get your attention. It's easy when you're coaching against that. It's easy when you're playing against that. It's easy to game plan against when that's the case. And unfortunately, the Maple Leafs this season have devolved into something that's a little bit easier to play against, at least for a Dallas Stars team that has answers for pretty much everything.
And it's funny, Joe and Jim were talking about Mason Marchment, who was a Maple Leaf that was kind of a grittier guy, lower in the depth chart. And he's having a pretty good year with the Dallas Stars. Like, it's funny, the last couple of weeks we've been seeing former Maple Leafs quite a lot. And you start thinking, like, Zach Hyman would look so good on this team. Even a Mason Marchment. Look at Pierre Engvall scoring. No, I don't want him on the team. But, it's sometimes a reflection of you have put so much into so few players that, you're left with not much on the back end.
Yeah, it's I guess it's a credit to what was happening with this organization 5, 6, 7 years ago, where a lot of NHL players were produced.
The
but
Marlies
again,
were cooking.
There's a cost of winning, right? And when you suffer the cost of winning without winning, it hurts.
Look at the NHL scoreboard presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 18 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly.
Light night in the NHL. The Rangers and Lightning are just underway in the second period, and the Rangers got an early lead in the second period. They just went up 1-0 on the Lightning at Madison Square Garden. And still to come tonight, the Wild will be in Chicago to take on the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks getting another Winter Classic, eh?
I can't wait to see what they look like
St.
outdoors.
Louis?
Never seen that before.
How about getting Connor McDavid on a Winter Classic stage?
They had the Heritage Classic.
I know, but like
2
Winter
months
Classic's
ago.
different.
That's true. That's it for you?
That's it.
All right, Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph will have the call of the second period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
This is really profound, huge trade.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of Sirius XM.
New owner for the Orioles. Now here's Corbin Burns. I mean, that is absolutely sensational.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This guy is exactly what the doctor ordered.
Expert analysis on MLB Network Radio.
This is massive. I see this rotation competing with some of the best rotations in baseball.
Live sports talk when you need it is on Sirius XM in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
And we're with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning.
Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
Whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. The kid's a class act, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can't. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. It becomes a huge challenge.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
And the Leafs Radio Network.
Stars leading by a score of 2-1 after one period of play, and the first period was presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. play responsibly.
One thing about the Dallas Stars coming to town, we get to see some familiar faces and old friends.
Yeah, some great friends. Absolutely.
Pete DeBoers and Steve Spott.
Yeah, had a nice chat with Pete before the game.
Just great people. And then, of course, on the broadcast side, Daryl Ray, who was a roommate of mine in Halifax in the 80s.
And recovered.
And, well, recovering. Every time he says he's recovering something because of me. And Jeff Reese, the goalie coach, who has done so much great work, another roommate that I had up in Newmarket.
You've ruined a lot of careers.
Yeah, but at least I put myself first.
Off the bat, it goes out of play. There's going to be a face-off in the Stars' head.
And I'm guessing I made a lot more careers than I ruined.
Well, no, that's true.
It was the position.
A lot of people moved on from that level and went on to great things in the National Ice Hockey League, thanks to you.
Nick Kiprialis, his only professional hat trick. Me.
Congratulations.
Claude Julien. Me.
Nice.
Although the second one, I remember, I thought it was icing. So not to take anything away from Claude.
No, not to take anything away from milestone night. Leafs back in their own zone. Played it off on the far wing for Morgan Riley. Riley got it ahead. A tip pass for Nyes. Nyes mishandles the puck. It goes into the corner. Marner getting in there first, but couldn't drag it along with his skate. Nyes tried to tie his man up as it comes around to the near side, and Brody trying to backhand it around back of the net, has it go off a stick and up into the screen. And out of play with a face-off coming in the Dallas zone.
Well, the Dallas Stars come into the game with a 4-game winning streak and 9-2-1 in their last 12. And when speaking with Jeff Reese, he was saying that Jake Ottinger took a while to get going, get his traction going. But obviously, he said, we can score. And we've seen that from all 4 lines this season. But like I said, Jake Ottinger last night, 47 saves and a 2-1 win over the Buffalo Sabres.
Puck down in the Dallas zone. Nylander tried to tip it, but it was pushed out at center ice then by Dallas. And that will force Liljegren back into his own end, and he circles back behind his goal to get it ahead to Nylander. Nylander coming through neutral ice. Works to the left wing side. That looked like it might be offside, but it's been waved on. At the blue line, a shot taken by Tavares was deflected wide of the goal. Puck around back of the net. Tavares slams his man to the boards, and it is launched out at center ice, and the Leafs have to go back for it. Domi played it ahead on the wing. Got a return pass across the line. Tried to slide it in for Nick Robertson. It goes around back of the Dallas goal. Played by the netminder around the boards to the near side. And the Stars get it ahead to the blue line, but not into the Leaf zone. Now Robertson coming back for Toronto. Little head fake and then tried to get the shot away. And it rolled off the heel of his stick and went harmlessly wide. He gets it again in the center ice area, but can't hook up there with Domi. And the Stars will punch it back down into the Toronto zone. Giordano. A pass through neutral ice in on the left wing side. Holmberg with a long shot that went high. And that caroms up into the screen as Domi let that go just at the end of his shift.
We're seeing again, we're seeing some pretty good shifts by the Leafs. Where they're rolling the lines, getting some pucks deep, trying to get pucks through, and yet do not feel that anxiety that when's the next giveaway coming? When's the next breakaway? When's the next pizza thrown up the middle that gets picked off as Wedgwood, the Dallas goaltender, makes his way to the bench holding his mask. Obviously, maybe that caught part of his mask, the Holmberg shot. And they're not screwing around. He's going to the backup masks. No replacement clips. Remember those days when it seemed to take you 3 months? No, when it took 3 months to get one.
One? No, I know.
Now guys have 2 or 3. They got the paint jobs done in about 40 seconds.
Masks? Yeah, right. Draw to the right in the Dallas zone as Scott Wedgwood gets the mask on. And the face-off to his right. Draw won by the Leafs, and a shot. Wedgwood juggled it, but then was able to get a glove on it and hold.
Well, fourth line getting an offensive zone shift here. And again, from a Leaf standpoint, even though there were a lot of things that kind of blew up, you had Holmberg, Reeves, and McMahon on the ice. Your fourth line on the ice for the second goal for Dallas.
Wedgwood is well traveled, 31 years of age. Stops in Arizona, New Jersey, before arriving in Dallas the last 3 seasons. Puck down in the Toronto zone. Riley got taken to the boards and was slow to get back on his skates. The puck around on the far side. Played back in, and now Riley trying to return the favor to Radek Faksa, who took him to the boards. And he steps into Faksa and flattens him. And then Ryan Reeves getting into a push and shove with Ty Dellandrea, and the puck is back out at center ice.
No takers.
No. And we've got a whistle here.
Too many men on the ice, or did the puck go into the bench,
2,
maybe?
3, 4, 5. Well,
there's
6
9 now.
Now there's 12. Take your pick, but no one's going to the penalty box. Face-off will be outside the Toronto blue line in front of the Dallas bench.
And again, what would the comparable be to Ryan Reeves in Dallas? Who is it that would willingly drop the gloves and go out and do it? I don't think there is when you start looking up and down the lineup.
Nope. Not without benefit of alcohol, anyway. Played down to the Toronto blue line. And McCabe runs into traffic on the boards. It's centered in front of the net for Marchment. Got a shot away, but it was blocked by Tavares. Tavares trying to play it out.
Boy,
and a hooking call is coming here.
This is weak. I mean, it's going to go to the Leafs. I think Seguin is going to get it.
Yep.
Joe, this is stick on stick. Tavares is coming out of the zone. Seguin right behind him. And Seguin's talking to the official now. And again, it's the official that's 100 feet away that makes the call.
So the Maple Leafs, who were successful on their first power play opportunity, will go to a second here. And that streak of the Leafs penalty kill went to 0 for 11 before the 12th one was scored on very quickly after the penalty was called. Leafs in front of the net for Tavares. He scores! Almost as quickly as the Dallas goal. This is a quick centering pass, and John Tavares has now scored in 3 consecutive games.
Maybe back-to-back goals too, Joe, where there were questionable calls for penalties, one to each side in the offensive zone, and that's when that leads to the face-off and the power play goals. This time Tavares benefited from the 50-50 call against Seguin, and then finishes it off. Nice little saucer pass on the backhand. Nylander on the left wing boards. Just saucers it into the high slot, and the one-timer by Tavares beats Wedgwood. And Tyler Seguin is not a happy camper coming out of the penalty box. Again, I mean, the stick blade briefly gets into the gloves of Tavares. But on one of those calls, you could probably make 60 times a night.
But what you're saying is everything is even now because the Jamie Benn power play goal was also a bit of a questionable call.
That's
right?
exactly what I said.
Yeah.
And both in the offensive zone.
Yes. Yep. Tavares with his 15th, his 7th by way of the power play. Drought. John Tavares has become one of the hottest hands the Leafs have offensively as he scores his 15th of the season, and the Maple Leafs are now 2 for 2 with the man advantage.
Third straight game now that Tavares has scored.
Played off the boards to center and knocked back in by Dallas. Played back of the net by Brody. Scooped high, and too high as it turns out, into the screen at Toronto zone as a result.
Scott Wedgwood, by the way, the goaltender for the Dallas Stars. Played in New Jersey before Dallas, but you'll might remember he was in goal for Austin Matthews' record-breaking goal that moved Matthews ahead of Rick Vaive for most goals. Nylander's had 4 goals in 5 games against Wedgwood coming in career-wise. So that's now 5 and 6 with his first period goal.
Brampton native, he played his junior hockey with the Plymouth Whalers. Draw one by the Stars. A shot goes wide. Another shot goes wide of Samsonov, who seemed to wave at it. Now it comes into the slot, and a shot that went wide of the net as well. And the Stars having some difficulties hitting the net area, and now the Leafs intercept, and now here's Robertson coming to center with a nice little flip pass in on the left wing, trying to get a return feed. It went off a stick as McCabe tried to return the favor, and it ends up going into the screen out of play.
Well, we might as well come clean on this, Joey.
Uh-oh.
We're looking at each other a lot during this game going, oh no. And even though, I mean, you can't say it's been anything terrible, the same as last game, but the 3-game stretch we saw from Ilya Samsonov before the All-Star break, he looks a little more like the guy that was struggling before that. Does he not?
Yes. No,
not quite as centered or anchored. You hope he can battle through it. But you just get this, there's so many shots that he looks uncomfortable.
Or just kind of guessing.
Yep.
And
where when he was on.
Played out at center ice now by the Leafs. The Stars get it back into the corner. Benoit knocking it back of the net into the near boards. The puck comes free and it is pushed out at center ice. Robertson didn't see it. Stars have regrouped it, but then stealing it back.
Too many men on the ice. The linesman is back to wave from the Leaf bench. I think they've got another too many men on the ice penalty. And I think it's Bobby McMahon played the puck before Noah Gregor got off the ice. What are we up to now? Are we leading the league still?
I think so. Is it?
Maybe Armin.
Is it? It's been a while. Now, in fairness, it has been a while. I'm going to have to go back on my books here to see. But
the slump is over.
Yeah. No,
we got one.
We got one. And it comes at 5:15.
Was it this year or last year? They
had a dozen.
They took one when they had the power play.
That is tough to do. Draw to the right in the Toronto zone. Too many men on the ice.
I mean, and this is communication. First, somebody's got to tell Gregor the puck's there to play it, and Bobby McMahon has got to know it's at the far end. It's not like you got to jump on to negate a scoring chance.
Down into the corner, the Stars get it back to the point. Heiskanen to the left wing side. Ben closes with a shot, and a pad save made there by Samsonov. Back to the point, Heiskanen again, shooting in traffic, knocked down and then smothered by Samsonov, who looked very confident there in taking it off the chest and getting a glove on top of it.
I thought a little bit of a screen as well. Rupe Hintz cruising in front of the Leaf goaltender. But I mean, looks comfortable, but what we're talking about is he stopped a wrist shot from the blue line. So I think we, with baby steps and feeling more comfortable.
Yep.
There have been some wrist shots from the blue line we haven't been as comfortable witnessing.
Stars with it again, a pass intercepted by Matthews. He is able to break it out at center, makes a nice feed for Marner. Marner breaking in with the backhand, and that was stopped by Wedgwood. Puck out at center ice, and the Stars wheeling in on the right side. Try to get it back, and it's intercepted by Marner again. He's away at center. Matthews catching up. Matthews in on goal! Wedgwood to save, and the rebound is coming back the other way, and the Leafs are in need of a change. Back come the Stars. Here's Sagan. Things heat up here in the second period.
Well, hindsight being 20/20, you don't really need to criticize the choices of Austin Matthews.
Now a loose puck and Nylander's away. Nylander in, sand on it. Has it again though. Trying to flip it in front of the net. It goes into the far corner. Pontus Holmberg unable to do much with it there, but tried to scrum it along the boards to eat up some time. Wow.
Well, but looking at the Matthews chance again, Joe, if he releases that quick.
Yep, here's another
that
chance
he has
now down the other way, and it's knocked back into the corner, and now Holmberg starting out. Played up down into the Leaf zone. Played off the boards to center and iced. The 10th too many men call against the Maple Leafs this year. Leafs with it again. Second in the league, apparently. Thank you, Armin. And the Leafs have killed the penalty off, and as it's cleared down into the Dallas zone, the Stars playing it off the boards and brought out at center ice now. Hintz gets in over the line into the slot with a shot, and he fired that wide of the net. Domi lost an edge and couldn't corral the loose puck. It's all the way down into the Dallas zone. So the Leafs have two real good scoring chances shorthanded on that last power play.
Obviously, the Marner-Matthews.
Long shot, pad save made by Samsonov. Centering feed, unable to get a backhand away was Dellandrea. It's against the boards. He's tied up on the wall. It's drawn a crowd in against the boards. Dug out, and a bad pass goes right past Hakanpää all the way down into the Dallas zone. Leafs 2 and the Dallas Stars 2. Bertuzzi couldn't steal a loose puck. Now Matthews gets it in over the line. Trying to play it in. Yanni Hakanpää went for a big hit on Matthews and did a nose plant into the boards and got absolutely nothing but air. Centering pass, and Wedgwood is down to cover up on it. There he was, and there he was gone.
Like underdog flying towards Austin Matthews on the boards and missed them, but the Leafs huge penalty kill in a 2-2 game midway through the second.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Bet365 doesn't do ordinary. That's why they've introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian and everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like solivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate. As in, while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today. And welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
2 good saves, 3 good saves, another shot, 4 good saves made.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
During that commercial break, it was interesting that Ilya Samsonov and Willie Nylander had a rather animated discussion going on the ice as Samsonov was headed back into the net.
As long as no punches were thrown.
I was busy looking for too many men on the ice penalty, but you mentioned that Samsonov literally kind of did a nose plant on a icing call that went down, and now another icing here. He's on his skates and now.
But talking about too many men on the ice penalty, Ralph McKenna. Gentleman sent me a note saying the Bruins last night took too many men on the ice penalty with a power play against Calgary. I went from the Dallas game to watching the Edmonton Oilers. Talking about shorthanded, Marner and Matthews. How about Draisaitl and McDavid on a 2-on-0 shorthanded break? That was the first goal of the game. But Vegas was able to snap the Oilers' winning streak, come back and win it.
Wow, played down into the Leaf zone. Icing waved off there with Liljegren. Looked like he was in position. Now the Stars with it, though. Back to the point. Knocked off a stick. Nyes is not going to be able to take advantage of it, though. Comes all the way back into Dallas territory. Pass out at center. Knocked away off the skate of Marner. Bank to the left wing side. Nyes almost stole it there. Now works back of the net. Can't come up with it. Marner cutting off a pass on the wing. Tried to center for Matthews, but Ben was there to intercept. Lead pass out at center. Ben carries to the line and in. Along with Sam Steele. Sent it into the corner. And the Stars are getting a change going. McCabe misses a man with a hip check, and then a long shot is gloved by Samsonov, and he'll bring a face-off in the Toronto zone. 21 seconds away from the midpoint of this hockey game, and we are tied 2-2, and the power plays have been the big force. The Leafs have scored twice with theirs. The Dallas Stars have scored once with theirs.
But the Leafs are owed one. Although technically, too many men on the ice penalty. I think that goes in a parentheses.
All right. Shot there. Blocked there nicely by Samsonov. Puck comes up from Morgan Riley. Flipped it ahead. Bertuzzi to Tavares. Launched into the far corner. Around the boards it'll go. Bertuzzi got there. Nylander trying to come away with it. Looked like Bertuzzi was lifted off his skates. And now Morgan Riley skating back there to take it away from Seguin. Seguin may have been at the end of the shift, but the speed of Morgan Riley was very much on display. Leafs back in over the line. Tavares can't get a shot. Now when he centers, it goes back of the net. Grabbed off there by Bertuzzi. Back to the point it goes. McCabe quickly to the far side. A long shot by Benoit. Nobody in front of the net, though, as the Leafs were in the midst of a change with Tavares at the bench.
I'm sure Simon Benoit is saying, hey, I scored from 100 feet further out last time.
Yes.
It's Winnipeg.
Yes. There was a bit of a
no goalie there, but still,
yes.
It's my range.
That's right. At any rate, we're tied at 2s. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Super Bowl week is here, and nobody brings you closer to the biggest event of the year than SiriusXM Super Bowl 58 Radio. The stars of the sports and entertainment worlds converge in Las Vegas, and we'll be covering them all.
Flavor Flav.
I've always been a big fan of football.
Yeah, boy. And it's the only place to hear the game. Plus the Apple Music halftime show starring Usher. Your ticket to everything happening at the Super Bowl is Super Bowl 58 Radio, Channel 106 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
NHL All-Star Weekend returns to Toronto, and SiriusXM NHL Network Radio brings you all the action.
Pass and a quick shot. Scores! Matthews! Ross for Crosby for the HP. He's good!
Hear conversations with all-star players and coaches. All-Star Media Day, player draft, skills competition, and play-by-play of the 2024 All-Star Game. 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend live. Beginning February 1st on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to SiriusXM FC 157.
February 7th, 1976. Myself and a bunch of confrères, broadcasters from Sudbury, were fed at National Nickel. We traveled down in a motorhome. Lots of alcohol consumed to go to the Leaf game that night. And it was a special trip because the Leafs were playing Boston and then playing in the afternoon on Sunday as the puck is in the Dallas zone. Little did I know until the next morning, because of a bit of an alcoholic haze, that Darryl Sittler had 10 points in the hockey game that night.
I think you found out last October.
Across the line, a long shot is steered wide of the net by Wedgwood.
But what's amazing, when you talk to people, the players didn't even know. They weren't even aware of it.
No.
You would have thought somebody would have checked Twitter or X during the intermission.
There wasn't any of that, Mr. Ralph.
How did we live?
No. Here the Stars in with a shot. Good save made by Samsonov. Puck along the boards. Wyatt Johnston trying to center. Has it poked off his stick. And Domi is going to just flip it off a Dallas player to get it out at center. Miro Heiskanen in across the line. Backhand try. Swallowed up by Samsonov off the stick of Ty Dellandrea, and he'll hold. One of the funnier parts of that, one of the guys on the trip was sitting, we were scattered all over the gardens, and he's sitting in the goal seats. And when Darryl scored the hat trick, he threw his hat on the ice, obviously. But then when it got to 9 points, he didn't have anything to throw. He pulled the goal seat out of its mooring and was about to throw it over the glass when he was apprehended by Garden staff and exited from the building. So he didn't get to see the 10 points either.
Well, if he would have thrown the seat, he wouldn't have seen the rest of the city.
Brought in now by Holmberg, trying to drive in, and he looked like he was hooked there, and there's going to be a penalty. Shot from the point, wired wide. Whoa, Wedgwood was flailing around in front of the goal there as well. Now Reeves trying to get it in front, and the Leafs' fourth line is going to be proactive here in bringing about a power play for Toronto, who are 2 for 2 with the man advantage.
I think Eric Furlat has made just about all the calls, too, hasn't he, Joe? Calls in this end have been made from center, and then he's made some calls in this one in the Dallas end. This is Holmberg just moving in. This is probably a bigger infraction by Heiskanen than we saw from Seguin a little earlier. I mean, this was right into the hands and it took away a scoring chance.
11:55, the time of the infraction. Zone, Stars win it, and they rattle it around the boards and out and down the ice. Back of the net, Riley got it ahead for Marner. Marner circles back, dropping there for Riley, dropping for Matthews, skips in on the left wing. Dished off on the left wing side for Tavares and back to the point. Now to Marner. Marner on the left half board, throws into the corner. Back to Riley. He's going to walk the line and come to the near side to Matthews. Back to Riley. Shot coming, deflected, bouncing puck, shot over top of the goal off a stick by Matthews. Matthews trying to recover a loose puck on the boards and has. Works out of the corner, a pass in front, scores! Matthews will get credit for it. It goes in off a Dallas player, but the Leafs are 3 for 3 on the power play, and they lead it 3-2.
This goes off the skate, the heel of the skate of Esa Lindell. As Matthews had a man at the top of the crease. Open, he tries to throw it across to Nylander. Lindell went flat on his stomach to try to take away the passing lane. And I'm sure Wedgwood is saying, does this guy really need a good bounce?
It was a perfect bounce.
Yeah, but I'll tell you the other thing. It was Matthews' ability to get the puck back with the help of John Tavares that makes that play.
Nope.
A lot of guys give up on that. And Dallas would get an easy clear, and you start over. But Matthews in pursuit was able to get it, and they get a break out of it.
Very tenacious. And it turns into a goal. Now a centering pass in front of the net for Bertuzzi. Oh, and he tried to make one too many moves. And it was knocked wide of the goal. Oh, my. You feel for Bertuzzi looking for his break a streak. Now here the Stars in. Oh, and a good glove save made by Samsonov. And the puck has gone into the screen out of play. Absolutely.
His best and most timely. Timothy Liljegren, Joe, with the turnover right at the Leaf line. He gets caught. The Stars get in alone on Ilya Samsonov. Forehand, backhand move. And I mean, that would have been especially devastating when you'd consider the opportunity by Bertuzzi at the other end just moments before. And here Timothy Liljegren pulls up and misses it, and Marchman was able to get it to Seguin, who walked in alone on Ilya Samsonov.
Played out into the center ice area. Stars playing it back into neutral ice. Backhanded into the Dallas zone. Toronto with a 3-2 lead. 3 for 3 on the power play. Puck in the center ice area now. Brought in over the line. Reeves in with a shot. Oh, and he missed the net by about 25 feet.
Got something on it, though, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yes. Back to the point. It goes near side. A fanning shot there by Brody goes wide. Centered in front. Oh, again. Here's Reeves once more. Then McCann can't get a shot away. Leafs keep it in at the blue line. Leafs to the far side. Morgan Riley with a shot, and with Reeves on the doorstep, it is held by Scott Wedgwood. And the Leafs' fourth line doing a pretty decent job here.
And being acknowledged for it from the crowd here at Scotiabank Arena.
Leafs have scored 3 goals and only 1 assist on all 3 of them. This time it's Matthews with his 41st from Tavares, the 11th on the power play. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Even better, Williamsburg Green has parks, playgrounds and trails to explore. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
Think 2 minute truck, 2 minute truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2 minute truck, 2 minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2 minute truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks. So give us a call today.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we've introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey. On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Are you a country
Big
music
time.
fan?
Absolutely.
Now,
Yes.
Toby Keith, one of my absolute favorites.
We lost
him yesterday. 62 years young, I believe, from stomach cancer. Gosh. Shot wide of the goal. Centered in front of the net. Oh, and Nyes, I think, put it right between the legs of Wedgwood, but it just got enough of his pad that it came out the back door wide.
And Nyes is on a 16-game goalless streak.
Centering pass. Long shot. Goes wide of the Toronto goal. Near side. Cleared into the corner by Brody. The Stars after it. Matthews has got his man pinned to the boards. Brody couldn't come up with it. It comes back to the point, and unable to keep it in there was Yanni Hakanpää, who has recovered from doing his nose plant on the far boards when he missed Matthews going by him. Puck around into the Toronto zone. Up on the right side now for Marner. Marner to the line. Backhands down into the corner. He'll go in to do some forechecking. Got a piece of a pass. Knocked down then by Tavares. Played into the far corner for Nylander. Nylander working it back off a skate. It goes down into the corner, and Tavares is in pursuit as it goes around the boards and is rattled around the wall. Partially blocked there by McCabe, but the Stars get it to center. Leafs are going to send it right back in again. They lead it 3-2, the Torontonians do, with 4:27 to play in the second. Your favorite referee just got knocked down in the corner.
Well, he is now after that last power play goal by the Leafs.
There's Robertson for the Stars, bouncing it down into the Toronto end. Benoit takes his man against the boards. The puck comes back to the point, kept in by Heiskanen to the near side, a shot. That was knocked down by Samsonov, and the Maple Leafs, Bertuzzi getting it elevated through center ice. Nylander was hoping to maybe tap that by the defenseman, but Heiskanen was there to take it to safety. Leafs are changing. Out come the Stars to center. Brought in by Dadonov. Left wing side taken wide and efficiently rubbed out there by Liljegren. Puck back to the point, but Heiskanen keeping it in with a shot. Pad save made by Samsonov. Puck back to the point again. Another drive whistled high and wide by Jamie Benn. Kept alive on the far point by Heiskanen. To Benn again, a shot. That was deflected just wide. Dadonov getting it back to the point. Good pressure here from the Stars, but the Leafs Domi to ice and down into Dallas territory. Leafs 3, Dallas 2, second period. As it comes to center on the left wing now for Duchesne. His shot is going off his stick and finding the screen and out of play. The Leafs are in Ottawa on Saturday night. We'll have that action for you beginning at 7 o'clock. Hope that you will join us for the Battle of Ontario.
Well, Senators have been better, and it doesn't really matter. When the Leafs play the Senators, it doesn't matter the standings, the streaks, or anything else. By the way, Jason Robertson, who comes into the season back-to-back 40-goal seasons, those numbers are a little off. Still leads the Stars in scoring, 50 points, but only 17 goals. And he is the 5th highest-paid player on the Dallas Stars right now.
Brought on now by Matt Duchesne. Duchesne into the corner. Penalty coming to Toronto. Oh, it's the other referee wanted to get involved. So Mitch Dunning has made this call. And the Leafs are going to be a man short.
Just stay off it.
Holding penalty.
One thing that happens when a player doesn't like a call, first thing he does is get into the penalty box and stares up at the screen. But the problem with Holmberg on this, though, Joe, as soon as you reach around with your free hand and grab onto the shoulder, the arm of the opposing player, you've got to do it. I don't think Sheldon Keefe likes this, but I think this is a legitimate call.
Draw to the right in the Toronto zone.
I also know it doesn't matter what I think. The Leafs are shorthanded, whether you like it or not.
You just figured that out?
Well, I think up until recently, I always thought more of myself. But now I'm starting to settle in.
Oh, good. Leafs have iced the puck. The Stars bring it back in over the line. Down into the corner it goes for Jason Robertson. Knocked away by Nylander. Puck in the corner. Has got 3 Leafs there, but it comes free. And Brody has all kinds of time to skate it up on the near wing and then rattles it off the glass and sends it down into Dallas territory. Minute 23 in the power play. Stars are 1 for 3 with the man advantage. Brought out at center ice now by Dallas. To the line for Hintz. Got Heiskanen over on the far side. A shot blockered away nicely there by Samsonov and quickly cleared out and down the ice by Toronto. Both teams are trying to get a change in.
One thing the Leafs have got to be aware of, Joe Pavelski loves that area in front of the net, and he is so good with redirections on point shots.
Duchesne in over the line. Taken to the boards then by Gregor. Puck comes back to the point, though. Kept in there. Long shot coming. Knocked away. Big rebound in front. In the air. Scooped out of the air by the left hand of Ilya Samsonov.
Point shot, but Samsonov tracks it well. And really is, the one save to me, that seems to have settled Samsonov down. Is it not?
I was going to say, yeah. He's looked much more comfortable in the second period than the first.
But even before that save, there were some moments where you're going, oh no.
38 seconds left in the power play. Draw one by Toronto, but unable to clear it was Nylander. Got another whack at it. It bounces to the line, kept in by Dallas. Right wing side, a pass deflects back of the Toronto goal. Up against the boards, fed by the Stars, back to the blue line. Kept alive by Harley. Thomas Harley down into the corner, turning with it is Duchesne. Back to Harley again. Over on the right wing side. Now to the left wing, and Harley in front of the net. A shot. Big pad save made by Samsonov. And the Leafs bail him out by clearing a dangerous rebound down the ice.
Boy, Jake McCabe is livid. I don't know what happened. He was very slow moving in the Leafs zone. But then going back to the bench, and maybe fortunate he doesn't pick up a penalty, he two-hands the boards as he gets back to the Leaf bench. I don't know if we're going to be able to see a replay on what happened. Oh, he's cut. Jake McCabe is cut below the visor, but right on the bridge of the nose. And he's leaking. Oh. Well, now, I mean, how come there's no...
Oh, wow.
Boy, and then the puck was nowhere near him, was it?
No, and he got leveled.
Wow.
Lindell trying to get it across the line. Leafs intercept. Play it back to Morgan Riley. Riley to Liljegren. 35 seconds left in the period. A pass off a stick into the zone. Matthews trying to steer it away from Heiskanen. Had to go.
Boy, McCabe is still, he's up on the bench, still giving it to the officials, and seeing the replay, you understand why. I mean, it was interference, maybe a head shot. Well, I guess it was a head shot.
Yes, it certainly was. Here's Riley with the last minute or last second attempt to get it into the zone. Cleared back into the neutral zone. Stolen by Bertuzzi. Couldn't get it in front. And time's going to run out. And Bertuzzi in a Radek-Faksa slashing at one another as the period ends. Bertuzzi ushered to the doorway for the Maple Leafs. And we'll see if any additional penalties are called here.
Jake McCabe's going right to the referee. And I think he's going to the wrong one. Yeah, I think he was mixed up which one, but trying to show the evidence of the late hit. But this had to be. I mean, it was a huge hit. And it would have been, to me, clean had the puck been within 20 feet of him. But we saw the one low angle from the corner to the right of Ilya Samsonov, and I think that's why Sheldon Keefe
He was
continued.
still at it, yep.
And if I could read lips, I'm
oh,
going
no,
say,
I can't. Well, never mind.
For some reason, he's mentioning Radek-Faksa, who's the Dallas player. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know if he was the one that did it, but
it looked
like he said it repeatedly.
Yes. At any rate, a couple of goals from the Maple Leafs on the power play. Erase a 2-1 Dallas first period lead. Tavares and Matthews with the goals. The Leafs with a 3-2 advantage. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on Sirius XM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving, scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Erling Haaland has 5!
The Champions League Knockout C157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
And we're with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning.
Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, it's already evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, well, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act, and it's been really a pleasure.
On NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can't. It's all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. It becomes a huge challenge.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern. Sirius XM app.
NHL All-Star Weekend returns to Toronto, and SiriusXM NHL Network Radio brings you all the action.
Pass and a quick shot. Scores! Matthews! Lost for Crosby for the HP. He's good!
Hear conversations with all-star players and coaches. All-Star Media Day, player draft, skills competition, and play-by-play of the 2024 All-Star Game. 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend live. Beginning February 1st on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. Under review.
The National Hockey League, it's the #1 league in the world. It's a tough league. It's not shinny. I never wanted to become a league where the stars get an extra step or two. And there is a real divide with some people who go, the NHL doesn't do enough for its stars. No, what we like about hockey is it's a team game.
Under review with Mick Kerr, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the SiriusXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Leafs Radio Network.
Going to walk the line and come to the near side to Matthews, back to Riley. Shot coming, deflect off a stick by Matthews. Matthews trying to recover a loose puck on the boards and has. Works out of the corner, a pass in front, scores! Matthews will get credit for it. It goes in off a Dallas player, but the Leafs are 3 for 3 on the power play, and they lead it 3-2.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Bounce back period for the Maple Leafs, leading 3-2 after 40 minutes. That was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in that period.
Yeah, that was an eventful period and a good period for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And who needs 5-on-5 depth scoring when you've got a power play that is true. At least, converting at a good rate tonight. We'll say that. 3 power play goals in the game for the Leafs. A lot of opportunities because the refs definitely want to be involved in this one, just not when Jake McCabe is being blindsided by a former Leaf.
Yeah.
In Mason Marchment.
If you haven't had a chance to catch that, you'll see it on your Twitter feed or whatever you're consuming these days. But a blindside turnaround, I don't even know, hit to the face, basically. And McCabe is bleeding up from his nose, not out of his nose, from like a cut across his face, blood going into his mouth while he's screaming at the refs. It's like a horror movie, really. No call on it. I'm sure we will see something happen in this third period to try to get a little redemption on a former Maple Leaf, Marchment.
Yeah, it was an interesting one. It's definitely going to be a subplot in the third period. I wonder if he's going to get a call from the disciplinary committee because it was bad. I would say, at least mildly predatory.
Yeah.
Definitely one that the league will have a look at. And it was weird seeing Jake McCabe so angry because we hadn't seen the hit yet, at least watching on the screens here. So once you saw exactly what happened, you kind of understand the frustration and you understand why Sheldon Keefe was furious at the end of that period, yelling at the officials. Thankfully, if you're a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs, sometimes when there's a blatant missed call, you get a call in the third period. So maybe the Leafs will be banking on that if they don't start something first.
Yeah, power play has been turned around completely. Obviously, this was the point of discussion throughout the first couple months. The season hit quite a lull, but they've been scoring, I think that's 3 consecutive games. They've gotten a goal.
John Tavares has a power play goal in 3 consecutive games. You can tax that.
He's like, see ya, CRA. He's raking up money to pay his $8 million fine.
At least he's adding to his next contract.
Yeah, that's what he has to do, right?
But honestly, John Tavares, and we're joking around about the report today, but John Tavares, the first half of the season for 60% of the season, it's like, what happened to the power play goals, John? What you did so well last year, what you've done so well since you came to the Maple Leafs was score on the power play. We've seen none of it, but I guess it's all rushing back now. The positive regression working in a positive way for the captain.
I did think it was a good turnaround for the Leafs. I think Samsonov made a couple of really big saves. Scott Wedgwood had a couple of the Maple Leafs numbers. He had some big saves. There was multiple opportunities for the Leafs to go up. Poor Bertuzzi, that guy, he's almost trying too much now. He had an awesome opportunity in the crease. Did one stick handle too many. He just needs a goal to go off his butt.
Anything.
Something. Doesn't matter as long as it's not your kicking motion. Yeah. Let it go off your elbow. I don't care. He needs to break this streak because it's becoming a issue. I can tell he's gripping his stick too tight.
Yeah, and I can almost see the camera panning to Bertuzzi after 30 seconds later when Ilya Samsonov was forced to make a really, really big stop. If that went in, it was definitely Samsonov's best save of the game so far. But if that resulted, hey, you could go up 2 goals with Bertuzzi all alone in front, or now it's tied. I mean, that would have been another reason to look at Bertuzzi and wonder about what's going on with the production and whether or not he's helping this team.
Matthews, another goal, even though he didn't necessarily score it himself. That one did go off somebody else on the Dallas Stars. That's 27 goals in 27 games.
It's a pretty good run.
My jersey number was 27, so
there you go.
Just good things
it's a lucky
around 27, except for Mason Marchment, who's number 27, and he almost killed Jake McCabe.
I mean, 27 and 27, that is Hart Trophy stuff. I know he's not probably even in the top 3 right now if the vote was done today. And I guess that says a lot about where the NHL is in terms of goals and stars and production. But when you start scoring a goal per game across lengthy periods of time, I mean, 27 games is almost a third of the season, pretty close, if not right on. That's remarkable.
Yeah. It's
a great run for Austin Matthews. It was a great weekend for him. He looked like he was kind of the star of the show. And this season has really been, since the first month when it was Nylander, it's been all about 34.
Let's take a quick break. On the other side, Elliot Friedman put out a 32 Thoughts written blog, and there are some interesting Maple Leafs tidbits. We'll bring you that and more on the other side. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Every year, fans debate over the draft. Who's going first? At Chuck's, they already know. The top draft choice is that icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
NHLshop.ca, the official online store of the National Hockey League. And Canada's largest selection of officially licensed NHL fan gear. With unique one-of-a-kind designs by Fanatics, Adidas, and all the latest styles for every NHL team. Don't miss out. Shop now and get today's special offer. NHLshop.ca, a Fanatics experience.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Heron. Experience true luxury. Heathwood.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we've introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Unhibernate. Verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage. I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
Think two-man-in-a-truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think two-man-in-a-truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, two-men-in-a-truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Maple Leafs lead 3-2 after 40 minutes. Let's take a look at the NHL scoreboard presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out Ontario only. Play responsibly.
Let's do that. There's only one other game going on. The Rangers lead the Lightning 2-0, just starting the third period. An ugly injury for Mikhail Sergachev. I think he had to get stretchered off. Did not look good. So the Lightning down a defenseman, at least in the game. The Maple Leafs, of course, up 3-2 right now on the Stars end of second, and still to come tonight. Starting in about a half hour, the Wild will visit the Blackhawks.
All right, so we teased it before the break. Elliot Friedman's 32 Thoughts, the written version, has been...
I love when we get some words.
It's been put out there.
It's a nice treat.
So what do we have, Justin?
It's kind of the standard fare when it comes to the Toronto Maple Leafs and what they might be looking at. I mean, Chris Tanev has probably been the name that's most associated with the Leafs, or has been most associated with the Leafs from the balance of the season. He writes, "There's no doubt in my mind the Maple Leafs want Tanev, but Calgary is holding to see if that first rounder comes into play. That, Toronto, and I'm paraphrasing now, could probably have got it done already if they wanted to, but, they're looking for a first round pick, that being the Calgary Flames." Friedman did add that the Maple Leafs are looking for another center as well, which makes sense because I don't think the trust in Max Domi has ever been established. And of course, David Kampf injured right now, and Pontus Holmberg has been useful on the wing. So another center in the mix does make a lot of sense. But does it make sense to push your chips into the table and, aggressively go after additions over the next month before the deadline?
We are, a month and a day away. March 8th, I believe, the trade deadline. Tomorrow's the NBA trade deadline. I think it'll be a little bit different in this world, where the Leafs do and what the Raptors do.
The NBA is definitely caught up to the NHL in terms of pushing the deadline. It never was a thing. It didn't seem it was much of a thing. Now all of a sudden it's a thing, and that's the thing for us tomorrow. But yeah, the NHL deadline or trade deadline might not be as exciting this year. But if Chris Tanev goes to the Maple Leafs for a first rounder, there'll be plenty of things to talk about for us.
All right, Maple Leafs up 3-2 with 20 minutes left to play against the Dallas Stars. Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph will have the call of the third period. Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Sparks fly across Sirius XM this Valentine's Day with music guaranteed to get you in your feels. Crush on the biggest love songs from the 90s to now on Hits 1's Flirty 30, hosted by pop star Tate McRae. Or relive your roller rink days with Kelly Clarkson's Couple Skate Mix. Fall for these and more Valentine specials all week across Sirius XM and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Under review.
The National Hockey League, it's the number one league in the world. It's a tough league. It's not shinny. I never wanted to become a league where the Stars get an extra step or two. And there is a real divide with some people who go, the NHL doesn't do enough for its Stars. No. What we like about hockey is it's a team game.
Under review with Mick Kerr, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Leafs Radio Network.
Maple Leafs carry a lead to the third period on the strength of a 3-for-3 night with their power play. And when leading after two periods of play thus far this season, the Leafs are 18-3-2. The Dallas Stars, when trailing, are 5-10-1.
And those three in regulation have been a little too frequent of late. For the Detroit Red Wings, Colorado they had a lead on. Lost that game in regulation in the third period. And give up a late goal to the New York Islanders on Monday night to not get a point. So early on in the year, when they were blowing some leads, they were still able to get it to overtime to get the point. But now the bigger concern is the regulation losses.
Shot down into the Dallas zone off the face-off. Leafs defending to our right as it is played high to center ice and bounced in over the line, but way offside. And so a face-off will come back into the center ice area. Leafs on their way to Ottawa on the weekend. Will be there on Saturday night. Off the boards, deflects down into the Dallas zone. Nyes in pursuit, but it is knocked to the blue line. Leafs unable to keep it in. Poked over on the left wing, and now shot in on a delayed offside. And back of the goal, the Leafs will start out with it. Slowly to center comes Riley. He'll pepper it down into the zone to the near side. Pinching down was Benoit, but it's cleared high to center ice. And now here the Stars getting in across the line. Good back checking by Bertuzzi, though. Thwarted that rush. Now the Stars with it in the corner on the far side. Duchesne trying to get it back to the point and does. Hakanpää will send a bank shot to the side of the goal and around into the far corner. Tavares against the wall, can't come up with it. Centering effort by Marchment goes wide. It comes to the far side, a shot. Oh, and Samsonov was late getting across over there. And I think it was Marchment who tried to get the shot through, and it went off the goalpost. Brought back in over the line now by the Stars once more.
I think Marchment might have been better off trying to bank it in off Samsonov.
Puck in the near corner. Big collision there, and now Bertuzzi able to skate it slowly to center. Gets to the red line, and he's going to send a diagonal shoot in before heading to the bench. Stars back in their own zone. Ryan Suter around on the boards to the far side. Cut off there by Gregor. To Domi, to the point. Shot goes wide of the goal. Comes to the side of the net. Gregor trying to get it in front was taken down. And the Stars are going to lift it to the blue line and out at center ice. And then a turnover and brought in by Jamie Benn. A drop pass, but the other way. Robertson in on the left wing for Gregor. Gregor in front of the goal. Oh, what a chance Domi had. And a good save made by Wedgwood. Played out into the center ice area. And down into the Toronto zone it goes. That was so good I twisted my knee. Now here, long shot blocked, and it's out at center ice for Reeves. Reeves in on the right wing, trying to bull his way in around back of the net, and knocks down his man as the Stars get it out at center ice. I'm in the game, Ralphie.
I know, but if they would have scored, I think I might have been scared to look over.
Shot down into the Dallas end. Holmberg around back of the net. McMahon with a backhand. That was stopped. The rebound goes to Benoit's shot, and that was blocked. And now the Leafs fourth line doing a great job here. Marner is over the boards, though. Tries to keep it in. Flips it over for McCabe. McCabe for Matthews. That didn't work. Leafs have gotten a change in. Al Nyes to the far boards, back to the point. Benoit playing it back in for Nyes. Couldn't get it in deep. Matthews against the board, still trying to keep it in, but it comes out at center ice. Matthews turning with it again. Here he comes across the line. Misfires on a pass for Nyes, and the Stars get it out at center. Brought back in on the right side. Here's Hintz trying to get a shot, and it was high and wide of the Leaf goal. Good hit by Nyes, but the puck comes free. Kept in by Hakanpää. Round to the far side. Played into the corner, and it'll come around the boards to Hakanpää. Again a shot, and down to cover up on it is Samsonov, and he's going to hold on.
Might be different conferences, but there's been just about everything in this game, hasn't there? A little bit of bad blood, some big hits, weak calls, missed calls, big saves, some suspect goals, good power plays. And 16:03 to go. The Leafs holding on to the 3-2 lead. By the way, when you talk about Ryan Suter being here, he's actually got the second longest Ironman streak of the National Hockey League. He's had 422 games, including tonight. Only Brent Burns of Carolina, 810, has more.
Bertuzzi to the far side, centered in front of the net. Oh, and a chance again. Bertuzzi had, and that time it went off the backhand and just wide. Down into the corner, and a centering pass for the Stars is in back of the Toronto goal. The Sudbury native is a little bit snake bit here tonight. He's had a couple of great chances. Now the Stars with a shot, and Samsonov's left hand is able to snare that out of the air and hold on.
I really thought, and I think it is a key time for Ilya Samsonov. I mean, he had the 3 great games going into the All-Star break. To quote Randy Carlyle on Monday night, he was okay. Wasn't nothing horrible against, a couple of saves you might have liked. And at the start of this one, you're starting to think, is he starting to waver? This could go either way, but the turning point really seemed to be after giving up 2 goals and 10 shots in the first period. The save he made off Tyler Seguin in the second was a great stop in close And he really seems like his entire game has been transformed since then.
Icing call here against Toronto will bring the faceoff back in the Leaf end.
And transformed, what I mean is back to the 3 games we saw before the All-Star break. That kind of sharpness.
Max Domi is out now. I'm not sure whether this is, they were in the middle of a change earlier, but he's out with, and against the boards, he's going to get it set out into the center ice area. And no, they're staying on. So this is a bit of a little wrinkle here from Sheldon Keefe. Off the boards for Matthews. Matthews, rink wide, pushed ahead on the left wing side for Giordano. He'll just get it down into Dallas territory. Now Domi to the bench. Centering pass, Marner! Oh, what a save! Wedgwood makes with the left hand. That was another one of those quick turnovers that is orchestrated by the quickness of Matthews. And he made a great little move to intercept a pass and then quickly out to Marner, but Wedgwood got the left hand out there.
Boy, Thomas Harley has been very good in their top pair. Made that little weak backhand, and this is similar to some of the things the Leafs have done lately, which is not throw the puck around the boards with authority, and as you said, Matthews cut it off.
Leafs win the draw, shot from the point, blocked by the crowd in front. McMahon getting it back to the blue line. Here's McCabe with a shot. Glove save and an easy one that time by Wedgwood. And he'll hold for a face-off in the Dallas zone. 14:35 to go, third period. And the Leafs leading 3-2 on power play goals from Nylander, Tavares, and Matthews. Need to get Marner involved here. We'll have the big 4 up front doing that. Morgan Riley has picked up an assist. Nylander with a goal and an assist. Tavares with a goal and an assist. Draw 1. Leafs get it back to the point. Shot, pad save. Scooped into the corner then by Wedgwood. Reeves against the boards along with Holmstrom. Gets it back to Reeves. Centering pass in front of the goal and a shot. Oh, and a chance McCabe had, and he just sent it wide.
I think he was looking for a Holmberg off the back post.
Good shift again. Whoa! By the fourth line, and then McCabe and Reeves almost collided there. They tried to sandwich one of the stars coming across and almost bore the brunt of it. Now a shot from the point is knocked away in the Leaf zone. Centering pass back to Hakanpää. Another shot. That's deflecting to the far side. And a bouncing disc that is troubling there for Bertuzzi as he's able to pound it off the boards and get an alley-oop out at center. That's drawn another pushing and shoving match in front of the Leaf bench. Ben goes to the bench, and Bertuzzi has to get his helmet back on to continue play. It's not done up. The strap is flapping around, but he's back into the game. Off the board, sent to center. And now what?
I hope Bertuzzi's not going to be called for not doing the helmet up. Does not look like it.
Think so. No. All right. A break in the action. The Leafs 3, the Dallas Stars 2. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
No one is getting you closer to the Super Bowl from a fantasy sports perspective than Fantasy Sports Radio. Jeff Ratcliffe is live from Radio Row in Las Vegas all this week at noon Eastern, talking to the biggest fantasy football legends and helping you set a winning daily fantasy football lineup for the big game.
Touchdown! Kansas City! San Francisco!
Your home for fantasy sports is Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87 in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
And we're with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning.
Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can't. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. Becomes a huge challenge.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs 3 and the Dallas Stars 2. Stars come in with a record of 15-5-4 on the road, 68 points overall, and a dominant force in the Western Conference.
Coming into this game tied with Colorado for first in the Central.
But the Leafs have been pretty good. Western Conference against Eastern Conference teams. They're 0-4-2 recently against the East, but have been dominant against the West. Liljegren off the boards. Domi after a loose puck in the zone, but a lead pass springs the Dallas Stars in across the line, dropping now for Steele. Steele works into the corner with a backhand. That's blocked in front, and Domi is able to skate it out at center. Gets to the red line and sends a backhand into the zone, and that's the signal for a player change. Domi's going to stay on here briefly as it comes to center. Brought to the line and in by Heiskanen. Heiskanen gets it into the corner. McCabe in with a check that sends the puck around the boards. Pushed ahead for Tavares. Tavares gets it back for Bertuzzi. Makes a nice play to get it down into the corner. Nylander around to the far corner now. Bertuzzi after it and cuts it off. Trying to chip it back to the blue line. Double teamed him there and couldn't come away with it. And now the Stars start back out. Brought by Harley to center. In across the line, a shot blocked. Grabbed off by Tavares. He'll leave for Benoit. Benoit plays it out at center, but the Stars are onto it quickly there. Brought right back in over the line by Wyatt Johnston. Pass into the slot, intercepted, and Nyes takes it and gets it out into the center ice area. Nyes has lost his stick, trying to get one from the bench, then jumps back off because now jumps back on. He thought there might have been too many men. Now brought back in by the Stars and over the line. No, you got to get back out there. It's shot back into the corner. That was rather comical.
But I think the confusion was the glove got lost on the ice as well.
Yep.
And I think when he came to the bench, they weren't sure if it was for the glove or a stick.
Here's a pass in for Matthews, and it went wide. Kept in along the boards then by Nyes. Shot by Matthews to the front of the goal, but blocked at the defense. Marchman on the far side for Dallas. Pass, knocked down, Matthews in, shooting! Off the goaltender, up into the screen. Boy, he is so good at intercepting passes and just...
Yeah, it was Mason Marchman tried to throw it up the middle from the left wing boards, just shy of the Dallas bench. And Wedgwood comes well out and gets his blocker on this to deflect it up and over the glass. Now, it is funny how you look at things, obviously, from one team's viewpoint. We're talking about what a great interception by Matthews, not a horrid giveaway thrown up the middle of the ice in your own end, which was Marchman.
Yeah, you're right. And it's the rose-colored glasses, right? Now a turnover again, and now Reeves sends it around back of the net for Bobby McMahon. McMahon stops it up. Reeves goes in after it again, but it is cleared ahead to the line. Not out. Long shot. Oh, and that almost surprised Wedgwood. In fact, I'm pretty sure it did because it took him off the shoulder, and I don't know if he saw it before it hit him. Joel Hanley for the Stars. Banks it off a stick down into the Toronto end. McCabe bumping in there with Marchman. Puck along the boards with Holmberg, or at least Robertson, I'm sorry. Got it up on the wing for Domi. Domi launching it high in the air. Robertson trying to settle it, but couldn't get around the defense of Miro Heiskanen. Cleared back out at center. Domi getting it back for Robertson, who returns the favor, and Domi sends it down into the Dallas end. Around on the boards to the far side. Puck bounces to the blue line, but not out. Robertson trying to keep it in, then decides we'll regroup it back at the blue line as the Leafs make a player change here. Benoit Shoots it back into Dallas territory. We're halfway through the third. The Leafs with a 1-goal lead. Now another turnover here in the Dallas zone, but the Stars are going to get it out into the center ice area.
Leafs been better at times at getting in on the forecheck.
Now Bertuzzi, right wing pass. That didn't work. Cleared by Dallas to center. Shot by Riley back in. They have to tag up and now try to get in on the forecheck. Stars will get it up on the wing, and Wyatt Johnston comes to center. He gets in on the left wing, stood up, but then loses the puck, and it's going to be flipped high to center ice, and now here's a chance for Nylander. In on the wing with a shot off the glove of Wedgwood, but he had the presence of mind to look behind him and was able to get over there in time to smother the puck.
That was a 70s flashback, wasn't it? Goaltender, little goalie, gets a piece of it, starts trickling to the line, and in your tiny little pads, you dive back and scoop it out.
So fond of those memories. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we've introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier, because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like salivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate. As in, while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey. On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Face-off coming in the Dallas zone to the right of Scott Wedgwood. Lots of Dallas Stars fans here because, as I mentioned, 7 players are from Ontario and right around the Toronto area. Keswick, Thomas Harley from Keswick, Tyler Sagan from Brampton, Halliburton's Matt Duchesne. Now a lead pass at center, and here's the Stars in. There might be a penalty shot here, and there will be. Evgeny Dadonov broke in behind the defense. And a penalty shot has been awarded.
Well, when the arm went up, I thought it was iffy that it was going to be a penalty, but I think once Giordano knew he was getting the penalty, he went, all right, and he clamped on.
Works to the left wing side. Left-handed shot, top of the circle, in with a Deacon, a shot, and he scores. Roofed it over the net. And the second goal of the game for Dadonov has tied the game at...
Well, these are the shootouts. It's been a little bit of a struggle for Ilya Samsonov. I think his numbers on 2-on-0s against have been better than penalty shots. But Dadonov, left-handed shot coming down the left wing. Waits, and as soon as Ilya Samsonov starts to drop to the knees, Dadonov goes blocker side, and this game is tied again.
Played down into the Toronto zone. Riley Banking it off the boards to center for Matthews. Flipped it in, tried to get it to Nyes, who gets it back. Matthews around back of the net with a wraparound. And that was stopped on the short side by Wedgwood. Matthews with it again, high slot. Down into the corner now for Marner. Closing score! Holy mackerel, what a goal! The Leafs regain the lead. And the Big Four are certainly in business tonight.
Austin Matthews makes a great pass from middle of the ice inside the blue line, spots Mitch Marner near the right wing dot. Marner picks it up, has a little room, carries towards the net, and he just simply, he flips this. This is not a rocket. It's a little like a Kucherov delivery. It's just the wrist, a little snap, short side over the glove of Wedgwood, and the Leafs were not tied for long here in the third period.
32 seconds to be exact, and now a 2-on-1 break. Here's Tavares working in with a drop pass. Nylander scores! Sis, boom, bond! The Leafs have a 2-goal lead.
Well, the good and the bad all in one for the Leafs on this night. And sometimes the good comes with the bad. You want secondary scoring to win hockey games? Well, you're not going to need it tonight, but you've got Nylander, Tavares, Matthews, Marner, Nylander. The goal scorers in a 5-3 lead with 8:03 to go. Makes the Gretzky spinorama just inside the line. Feeds Nylander, and the lethal shot of Nylander. 2-goal game. His last game scoring was a 2-goal game in Vancouver.
Leafs poked the puck to the blue line. Marner didn't get it out, but Nyes will settle it down and regroup it in the Toronto zone. So 32 seconds after the Dadonov tying goal, the Leafs gain the lead again, and 20 seconds after that, they escalate the lead to the first 2-goal advantage in this hockey game.
Look at the second even strength goal, or second and third even strength goals of this game, as everything had been either power play or penalty shot until Marner and Nylander.
7:13 to play in the third period. Played around the boards, but not out of the Leaf zone. Chipped high off the wall, blocked there by the Stars on the boards. Liljegren trying to help out Gregor, but they don't get it out as it comes to the point. Heiskanen trying to step in, knocked away by Liljegren. It's going to clear and come back out into the center ice area. Boy, this team has got, there's so much talent that you just cannot give them that second as a high floating shot is gloved by Samsonov. The explosiveness sometimes is funnels.
Again, but a team that gets criticized for relying on their top four. Take a look at the score sheet. Obviously everybody wants secondary scoring, and we've gone through it with the Dallas Stars, where lines 1 to 4 they've been getting it.
But if your big guys will score every night, or on most nights.
Yeah, it goes the same thing, with the Edmonton Oilers.
I was just going to say, exactly. At the point of shot, that just went wide of the Leaf goal. Grabbed off on the near side and flipped high to center ice. And now brought in by Roberts, or by Nylander. Nylander into the slot, backhanded by Bertuzzi. Nylander got the shot away, and a blocker saved by Wedgwood. Down into the corner, centering pass again. Poked into the slot. Bertuzzi couldn't get a shot away. And now Seguin will come to center and play it down into the Toronto end. Benoit up on the boards for Bertuzzi. Played off the glass to center. Hakanpää, with 6 minutes to go in the third, sends it down into the Toronto end. Puck comes free for Tavares, and Tavares gets it out at center with a nifty little pass to Spring. Nyes, who sends it in deep. Nyes in the far corner. In goes Matthews to try to help, but the puck comes free, and the Stars will flip it down towards the net, and it'll be quickly covered up on by goaltender Ilya Samsonov to stop play with 5 minutes and 38 seconds left to go, third period, and the Leafs with a 5-3 lead on the Dallas Stars.
Ilya Samsonov, the last 3 times that the Leafs have scored 5 goals for him were all losses. 2 to Columbus, including that game where they came back from a 5-0 deficit. 2 were Columbus, and 1 was Buffalo's in there when he gave up 5, but didn't make it through the second period.
Down into the Dallas zone it goes. Near boards for Heiskanen. Got it up at center. McMahon does a nice job of back checking there. The puck along the boards for Reeves. He couldn't get free. McMahon playing it back for Morgan Riley. Riley off the stick of Reeves into the zone. And now here are the Stars playing it off into the far corner and starting back out with it. Up on the left wing to the blue line and in. Knocked away there on a good back check by Reeves, and now McMahon just trying to get it out at center does. Reeves with a hit there on Lindell. Puck along the boards. Holmberg is able to free things up, and now Riley dropping it back to his defense partner, gets it returned. Riley getting it ahead and into the zone it goes. Holmberg down into the corner, trying to bull his way to the front, but Ryan Suter would have none of that. Stars at center. Oh, and a big hit there by Benoit. Long shot goes wide of the net. Marchment had his head down, and Benoit stepped into him. Puck along back of the net.
It could have been much worse.
Oh,
I mean, Benoit
really could have been.
Benoit got a piece of him, but not
all.
What you've got to remember is the guy administering the hit. If there's a big collision, the impact goes both ways. The only thing.
Hakanpää took down Gregor, but it's down into the Star zone, and we're under 4 minutes to play in the third. Leafs with a 2-goal lead. Knocked in over the line. Riley with it again. Bank pass out at center for Robertson doesn't work, and it goes into the Toronto bench and out of play. The Leafs 5 and the Dallas Stars 3. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hello, I'm James Corden, and I'm so thrilled for you to hear my brand new show, This Life of Mine. Join me every week for incredible conversations and never-before-heard stories from the biggest stars in film, TV, fashion, music, sports, and more. Each week, we'll be talking about the people, the places, the possessions, music, and memories that have made them who they are today. This Life of Mine with me, James Corden. You can listen on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on Stars Channel 109, or listen on the all-new SiriusXM app.
NHL All-Star Weekend returns to Toronto, and SiriusXM NHL Network Radio brings you all the action.
Pass and a quick shot. Scores! Matthews! Lost for Crosby for the HP. He's good!
Hear conversations with all-star players and coaches. All-Star Media Day, player draft, skills competition, and play-by-play of the 2024 All-Star Game. 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend live, beginning February 1st on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at of all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with him and getting a message on just playing.
Hey everybody, Mike from TSI. Join our awesome community today. You see all those awesome emojis in the chat? See everybody's names rolling down the bottom of the screen here? Get your name in that list. It's only 99 cents a month. 99 cents, you can't even get a coffee for 99 cents anymore, guys. Join today. Click the description of the video. You'll see the link to join in the description. Let's get back to the action. Go Leafs, go. Let's finish strong, boys.
3 lead built on the strength of goals in a hurry. 52 seconds exactly after Dadonov had tied the game. 2 seconds after the goal, Marner. 20 seconds later, Nylander. And a 3-3 tie turned into a 5-3 advantage rather quickly. Stars down in the Leaf zone with a centering pass in the goal crease. Where is it? And it's finally dug out and dragged into the corner then by Brody. Domi trying to work up the boards, got it freed up. And it's brought to center ice by Pontus Holmberg. Holmberg in across the line to Domi with a 2-on-1. Oh, he had a man in front as driving the net was McMahon, and it was knocked away. Shot on a bounce in on goaltender Samsonov, and he's going to cover up on it. And McCabe, who's had just about enough of having people fill him in when there was no penalty, decides to get a little bit back. I don't know if it was the same culprit or not, but he was rather aggressive in the standing up and making sure that crease was clear.
It was Esa Lindell that came up and kind of was shoulder to shoulder with McCabe. Although, you know what, McCabe's not really the victim here. I think he plants his skates and sort of throws himself into Lindell. To the face-off to the right of Ilya Samsonov. And the one thing we talked about, the fourth line, they were on the ice for a goal against. Joe, which started obviously in the games against Winnipeg, more noticeable on the positive side.
Yes, absolutely.
Where he seems like he's skating better.
Extra attacker. On the forecheck. Extra attacker here for the Stars. Net empty. Flipped high out towards the empty net, but it's going to go wide. And so it'll come all the way back into the Toronto zone.
And Matthew Nyes was trying to hunt that down. Like we said for Nyes, I mean, I think when you've gotten 16 without a goal, I think you'd take an empty netter, wouldn't you?
Yeah, he drew an assist on the Marner goal.
Well, during the stretch, I mean, only 3 assists during 16 games.
Draw to the right in the Toronto end. Matthews lost the draw, comes back to the point. Heiskanen dishes off on the left wing. A shot kicked away, bouncing puck in the corner. Matthews got it freed up but can't make a pass because he's too well covered by 3 Stars who are down there. Now to the right wing side for Seguin. Shot, and that's wide. And it's going to carry him off the corner boards and slide all the way back down into Dallas territory. 2:27 to play, third period. Heiskanen dropping it back. Stars work to the blue line and in. Working down into the corner and stopping up is Duchesne. Back to the point to Heiskanen. Heiskanen to the left wing side, gets it returned. Walks the line and gives it back to Seguin. Tyler Seguin with a centering pass in front, intercepted. And the Leafs are going to get it freed up, and Nylander at the empty net. Missed. Trying to erase an icing. Oh my. I don't know about that. He made a valiant effort afterwards to get there.
Yeah, I think Seguin on the left wing side was able to get back first.
Well, there's not much argument from Nylander, so we'll go with that. But a face-off again in the Toronto end. The Leafs have missed the net twice. Now it comes out over the line as Heiskanen couldn't keep it in.
And Nylander, by the way, was 2 strides from getting the red line to avoid the icing.
Played down into the zone. Leafs, Tavares to Nylander. Flipped out at center ice. Stars have to clear the zone, and now Marchment shoots it back in again. Far side, Nylander against the boards. Chops at it, doesn't clear. Marchment on the right point. Drops it back for Heiskanen. Heiskanen holds. Off on the far wing, and a shot coming. Scores! Dadonov. No, I'm sorry, check that. Wyatt Johnston. 53, not 63. And the young man from Toronto has narrowed the margin to a goal with 1:25, and those 2 efforts at the empty net are looking rather large right now.
Some traffic in front. Ilya Samsonov just misses it, doesn't he?
I thought he was really deep in the net, too, to be honest with you, Jimmy.
Like we said, obviously, the man out, some traffic in front, but, I mean, he moves towards where the puck's going, glove side. TJ Brody had come out, but now buckle up. We talked about protecting leads in the third period, especially at home. Leafs are going to be tested again here.
15th of the year for Johnston, and there goes Wedgwood to the bench again. Cleared down into the Toronto zone. Benoit rattling it around the boards. It's blocked over there on the near side. In around back of the net it goes. Stars with it, near boards Duchesne. Back to the point. Held off there, just off to Robertson. Duchesne centering pass, and it went over a stick and went wide. It comes around to the near side. Trapped there again by Duchesne. Matt Duchesne holding. Hand on a pass. Leafs are able to bunt it out at center ice and racing after it. Matthews tried to get it in over the line. He did, but couldn't get a shot to the net. Bertuzzi is out there with him. Lead pass at center. Broken up partially, but now brought to the line and in by the Stars. Against the boards, it's shot out and down the ice by Toronto. And this will be another icing. But time now, 27.2 seconds remaining in the third period.
Morgan Riley ices the puck, but you don't mind this to the extent there was so much chaos around him that if you want to try to stop and look and make a play to get it out or gingerly lob it up, that split second could cost you, where you end up turning the puck over in your own zone. Pete DeBoers looks like the Dallas Stars have called a timeout.
Steve Spott doing a lot of the discussing on this this mana advantage.
Leafs usually dynamite the face-off dot, but they've only won 44% of the draws tonight.
They're third in the NHL in proficiency this year, better than 54%.
John Tavares been among the league leaders. He's won just 6 of 16. What about Austin Matthews, though? Has won 11, lost 15. He's taken 26 draws. And I believe this will, Matthews is in the dot to the right of Samsonov.
So here we go, 27.2 seconds to play. On to the right, into the corner it goes. Knocked down on the play, it comes back to the blue line, kept in by the Stars. Pass to the far wing. Into the corner it goes, back to the point, near side and no drive. That's deflected wide. Oh, and a big play by Benoit is cleared, and it's going to go down the ice, but not enough for icing. 7 seconds left. Stars with it as they make one last futile rush. Shoot it in over the line, off a stick, and that's going to be it. Mr. Ralph, I would say that was an entertaining night at the office.
Yeah, and I mean, a midweek game against a Western Conference team, that's not usually the formula, is it? But you're right, saw a bit of everything from power play goals to a goal on a penalty shot, some great saves, some iffy goals against that you could be critical of. But when it's all said and done, the top players for the Toronto Maple Leafs are among the best on the ice again.
And our Molson 3 stars are?
Well, let's just do the easy thing, right?
There you go. Yes. You know what? You just don't work at this very hard.
No. All right, go ahead. You do it.
I like some of the big scores tonight.
That's right, Joey. Did you have fun?
Yes, I did.
Do you want to come back again?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, okay.
Can we do this again on the weekend? Sweet.
Sure.
All right.
Sure. Star number.
I like Willie Nylander for the first star. He had 2 goals and an assist.
Well, I'm going to start with the 3rd star.
Well, so I've given away the big climax.
Oh, no. Nylander's the 3rd star.
Oh.
No, he's not. Austin Matthews, we're going to give star number 1 a goal and an assist on the night. John Tavares. Great goal, but also a great setup on one of the Willie Nylander's goals. We're going to go with John Tavares. He had a 3-point night as well. And Austin Matthews, I mean, the setup to Marner, the retrieval on the goal. He got a fortunate bounce in the power play goal. But it's the work he did to retrieve the puck, get it back, that set it up. And again, it was noticeable every shift he was on the ice. So Matthews, the 3rd star, 2nd star going to John Tavares and Willie Nylander. A 2-goal game, first time he scored since a 2-goal night in Vancouver.
Boy, I couldn't agree with you more. That's really something.
Well, thank you, Joey.
No, you were really paying attention tonight. Good for you.
No, I mean, this is natural. I do not work at this at all. Ask
what a revelation.
Ask anybody.
All right, we'll ship it off to Ailey Sporfire and Justin Cuthbert, the postgame show. Join us on Saturday night when the Leafs are in Ottawa, 7 o'clock start. You've been listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
$8K, thank you, insiders. All right, whew. Can't do the 2 men in a truck. If you can hear me, I don't know if you can hear me. I was having issues with the webcam earlier. Please disregard the mess of the basement renovations. This will be done in a couple of months. It's time to pop some champagne, the blue champagne. What do we got here for 8K? Thank you all, guys. Seriously, what a night. A great win for the Leafs tonight. The top four, the core four, were kicking ass tonight as we passed 8,000 subscribers today. Thank you all for everything you guys do. It is all because of you. So thank you. Let's pop this now for 8K here with my beautiful Maple Leafs champagne with no coverage here. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I need to get it started. And one of these days, I'll get good at doing these champagnes. There it is. All right, cheers. It's much more fun outside. Cheers to all of you. Thank you, guys. 8,000 on TSI, and we keep growing. Lee Adrian, cheers, man. Thanks for reaching out to me, brother. Appreciate it. And taking a risk. It paid off, and I'm glad to have you here. And glad to get that little bit of fun out to you today. And it's nice chatting with you guys as well. Reached out there, Lee, as well. Richard Feward sent the email as well. Appreciate that, man. Keep it up, guys. If you guys want to get in touch with me, we're really in the last stages of growing this channel and really this entire brand. So we've got till we get to 10,000. We've got 2,000 to go. And we'll see you guys real soon. Thank you again. 8,000. We'll see you guys on the flip side. We're on our way to 100,000. Thank you to all the new members tonight, the gifted ones. Every time we hit the milestones, I'm going to gift out some memberships. And as well, Harold, welcome to Insider. And Stacy the other night. Guys, every game we're getting more and more Leafs fans joining. And I really appreciate it. Here comes Tom climbing through the construction zone. Anyways, Tom, you got anything to say? No? Will you take this to Mom, please?
Yeah.
Okay. TSI Allison, I love you, babe. Thank you for the call. Don't take this to Mom. I will. Ah! I'm going to have to edit this out. Anyways, see what happens when the kids come down here and distract me. I'm just a real dude, dad of 4, living the dream over here. Thanks for 8K, everybody. Cheers, and we'll see you guys real soon on the next game. Go Leafs, go. Toronto Sports Insider. Here we go to 9K. Good night, everybody. I'll let the post game run as always.
Didn't really back down and responded immediately after a little momentarily tied the game. So all in all, the response, the get back in the third period was impressive. And to that all the time when watching the Toronto Maple Leafs.
So Leafs play again on Saturday night against the Sens. I assume once again we'll see Samsonov between games. We haven't had to have the conversation yet about Martin Jones, but there is a back-to-back coming in about 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, it's a late night, 2 weeks into February, where they have a back-to-back on the West Coast. So maybe by then, Joe Wall's traveling with the team. But, you know, Samsonov did enough to get through. I feel like that's probably all we're asking for at this point. He made some big saves. He had some sloppy goals. It's kind of the recipe for an Ilya Samsonov game.
Yeah, a couple went through him tonight for sure. This was definitely not Samsonov's best effort in this recent resurgence. But at this point, you earn the next start with a victory, it feels like. And that's partially because Martin Jones looked like he ran out of gas and because we're waiting on Joseph Woll, of course. But it's also just another opportunity to allow Samsonov to continue to find himself, to continue to gain momentum, build momentum, get yourself back to the state that you want to be as a goaltender. And if there's a step back, there's a step back and you deal with it then. But right now, Samsonov is giving them a chance to win, even if he wasn't at his best tonight.
While we wait for Leafs talk here, just a reminder that Elliot Friedman had put out a 32 Thoughts article confirming that the Leafs are super interested in Tanev and some sort of centerman. So something to keep an eye on over the next couple of days.
Before we go, we got to rip through the scoreboard as well.
No problem. This NHL scoreboard is presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly.
Let's just beat the Lightning 3-1 earlier on at Madison Square Garden. The Leafs, of course, 5-4 winners over the Dallas Stars. And the game's scheduled to start at 9:30. But I don't think the puck's dropped yet, at least on my NHL.com, between the Blackhawks and Wild. But either way, the Blackhawks and Wild will go toe-to-toe tonight.
All right, Leafs win 5-4 against the Dallas Stars. Leafs Talk with JD Bunkus and Sam McKee is up next. Thanks for listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs Talk, JD Bunkus, Sammy McKee. How we doing, brother? 52 seconds of sexiness tonight for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I enjoyed the game tonight. It was a lot of action. Felt like a midweek out of conference game where, two teams that are kind of in a playoff spot that, maybe doesn't mean as much to the Stars second half of back-to-back. But I thought an exciting game. Thought some narratives to come out of it, I guess, if you want to go there. But Simone Benoit saves a goal from a tying goal. We'd still be watching overtime right now. So good game tonight.
Big one. No, I'm going to start with the positive, which is, like I said, the 52 seconds of sexy, which is the Leafs give up the game tying goal. And you're sitting there going, yeah, obviously this is going to be the way. And it was shaping up to be one where you're discussing, all right, well, Stars power penalty kill wasn't exactly great. And one bounces off a guy's ass past Wedgwood. Another one's a softie past Wedgwood. And you're just starting to see the game shape in a pretty terrifying direction, especially considering that this would be two blown leads or blown opportunities to get points anyways, late in hockey games. And boom, Mitch Marner and William Nylander, they throw the capes on. I'll start with Marner's one just because, but when Marner is on, when he does those superstar plays, God, he just looks the part. That's how you look like an $11 million man, Mitch Marner, is this play right here.
Yeah. I liked even early in the play where he takes body contact and the guy that he ran into, I'm not sure who it was, who was bigger than him, actually goes down.
Everyone's bigger than him.
Yeah, it's true. He actually wins the sort of the body battle, which you don't expect from him. And then he goes to the front of the net. And let's be real here. Like Matthews throws an absolute grenade at him. Like this is just an awful pass right into the feet, like no chance. And he makes a play, high skill, kicks it up to his stick, patience, and just flips it upstairs. Like I really liked the goal scoring prowess from Marner this year. Like we always talked about how he wasn't a shooter. And pardon?
I've said prowess. You really Frenched that up. It's
prowess. Isn't that a thing that you say? Prowess.
No, prowess. No.
I don't know. Prowess. Scoring prowess? I don't know. Whatever. I say prowess, but my boy Simone Benoit. His goal scoring prowess. And he's done it a lot this year where he's done this very same move a lot where he gets in tight on goalies and it's not like the full hard wrister. It's more of like a flutterer, like more of like a wait you out and just kind of find a spot. Did it the exact same shot to Sorokin a night before. So love that goal from him. And I thought he was really, really good tonight, along with all the Stars.
Tried it earlier in the game too. That same spot. That's becoming his signature spot. High right wrister. That's the Marner. You can almost bank on that now. Like that is the place that he is going to try to score. And it's funny
because earlier in his career, even up until I would say the middle of last year, I would say his signature attempt to score a goal would be going across the body low blocker on goalies. He loved to go low blocker on goalies. You remember his first career goal was him scoring on Tuukka Rask low blocker. He really, really tried to do that a lot. So maybe they knew that the book was out on that one. He's trying a different shot. But yeah, he looks a lot more dangerous in front of the net than he used to. Give him credit. He's really worked on that part of his game. It's improved big time.
Yeah, I like a lot of what you said there, but it's especially interesting because a lot of great shooters now have started to adopt their game and have gone away a little bit from the shooting it high glove, and they've started to do hard and low, hard and low. And Marner just sort of seems to be picking something up where it's soft, high, and right, just soft, high glove. So good adjustment by him. Honestly, like it's a cheeky way to score, and it's been effective for him. But I love what you said about how he takes the body, he gets up, he makes a beautiful play with his hands. Like, I don't think there's another guy on the Toronto Maple Leafs, and that includes Austin Matthews, who could have received that pass and made the play that Mitch Marner made, with given the circumstances.
Out of his feet like that.
That's one guy on the team's hands only, and that's Mitch Marner. But the other part of it is I love the emotion. Okay, the Leafs are they're not going to be like Ryan Reeves tonight, right? He has a couple hits. What was it in the first period where he gets on top of like two guys and he's trying to scrum it up, and I'm going nice. And McCabe had some moments where obviously we'll get to that later on, but it's not going to be those players that set the tone and the identity for the team. This is it. This is the formula: is score sexy goals, right? Be that the stud scores sexy goals, and then ham it up to the crowd, light a fire under the other stars, and get some emotion into the hockey game. Because I thought that they were a little flat before this, dude. And then boom, it happens. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Nylander comes down right away, and it happens all within 52 seconds. And that to me is the formula for the Leafs. I know it's like, oh yeah, score 5 goals with the studs. Duh. Whoa. But I mean, like, score highlight reel goals, beautiful plays with your stars, and create a ton of momentum off of it. That's when the Leafs feel like they have an identity.
Yeah. I mean, this has always been their identity, and this will continue to be their identity, that they just are 4 really great players. And it's like, this is the whole formula. This is what they bet on.
When it feels like an avalanche like this,
For sure.
Like when it feels like they do this in bunches, and this is a thing that they've done for like for years.
Mm-hmm. That was a great play by Tavares. If you're watching on Sportsnet Plus or on YouTube,
it really is.
And like, I think it's pretty clear that the captain needed a break. He's had 2 of his better games in months since coming out of it, where he was really noticeable again tonight. Obviously scores again, gets an assist. Still hasn't scored an even strength goal in a really long time, but that's neither here nor there. That's a story for a different night. But he was really good again tonight, needed a break. But yeah, like, I think, I don't know how many times we can talk about them needing the stars to score, but it's like, oh, their offense is back. And it's Nylander, Tavares, Matthews, Marner, Nylander are your goal scorers tonight. So it's a pretty clear recipe, and they were awesome tonight, and you hope that they can do this in the playoffs. It's just the part where I'm not trying to be negative here, but you know what happens. The flip side of this,
brother, and that's it's not sustainable to score 5 goals a night from your star players.
And that's kind of what Tree's pivot was in the offseason, where what happened in the playoffs last year when they went up against Florida and they went up against Tampa, even in the latter part of the series against Tampa, where they couldn't get a goal. And they were scoring 2. How many straight games they scored 2 in? Well, it was like 6, or it felt like it was 6 games.
I think it was 6 or 7 games.
So then obviously they thought that they needed more scoring in the bottom 6. That's why you bring in a Bertuzzi. That's why you bring in a Domi. It's why you bring in Gregor. You bring in guys that are more offensive minded, and it hasn't worked at all. So it's a good one tonight, and it's more for a bigger picture conversation. But yeah, I obviously loved all the Leafs stars tonight. They looked really good against a good stars team.
Yeah. You know what though? I really think I'm not trying to just be a contrarian here. I think people are really pissed at the lack of Bertuzzi production. I think he's like on the verge of a big breakout. He just needs one.
I would hope.
He's so snake bit. Like, he had the one in front of the net tonight. He gets his stick lifted on another one where it's like a surefire goal.
Yeah.
He's around it constantly, man, constantly around it. And he's been in the dirty areas. And I felt like there was a moment there with the empty net where Matthews was clearly hunting his 42nd because, he wants his cookies.
Oh, yeah.
And Bertuzzi just wanted to see one go in the net so everybody could shut up. And they were in that foot race for it. And I went, Matthews, if you're the true leader of this team,
let the poor guy have one.
You gotta let him have it. You have to. He's dying for it. And of course, because he has some kind of curse, he did something, man. He did something in a different life, fully cursed. And you can tell he's feeling it a little bit now too.
How could you not? This guy is not a total butcher. This guy's had production in the NHL. Like, he can score. He had a 20 or almost a 30 goal season one year with Detroit. Like, that's not who he is, but the guy can put the puck in the net, and it's just it's evading him. Like, it is going the opposite way. For sure. He's a little more gritty tonight too.
Like, listen, I hate to throw this guy under the bus, but he's a mutual friend of yours and I's, but he's the bad take king. and it's Chris Abbott, right? Like, has he ever? When he gets a good take, it'll be his first one, right? He's never.
Love you, Chris. Holy, his words, not mine.
Brother, you know we love the guy, but come on, he's never had a good take. He's just full-throated, horrible take guy. But he texted me tonight, and he's like, "Is this contract worse than Nick Ritchie?" And I'm like, "That's where I think some people are at with this guy because he's not scoring any goals, and that's not what I'm seeing. You know, like I'm seeing a guy who's doing a lot of positive things, who's creating, who's generating, who's playmaking." Who is getting into it a couple of times tonight with some Stars players. You know, I'm feeling for him now. He's got to produce. It's not an excuse. Like he didn't get paid 5.5 sheets.
That's where I'm at here. Like I love this is all sweet and warm and fuzzy, but like push one over the line, buddy. Making 5.5. Yeah, like I'm dying to love him. I truly am. I'm dying to love the guy, and I really want to root for him. But at some point here, it's got to enter the net.
Can I give one small excuse for him and for others?
Sure.
It was a reminder tonight for me when Tavares scored, and now that's 3 straight games for goals for him?
Yep.
And it's a power play goal, and it's a little bit of a softie that he ends up scoring, right? Like Wedgwood, come on. You gotta, if you're a Stars fan, you're probably not too pleased with that. But it was a reminder of Tavares has been getting no goals on the power play this season, and that's been a big reason why when you look at the production, it's not the same as years past. Mm-hmm. And when you have a power play that's been so geared towards 5, like Bertuzzi's not getting time on the power play.
Sniff.
No, and that's it. He doesn't get even a second of it. And so when you're in a bit of a drought and you're a depth guy, right? Like you're Domi, for example, who's not getting any points, or you're those guys that you're mentioning, right? Like Robertson, even, who is getting a lineup. When you don't get any power play time, and tonight, who knows? They scored all their power play goals all within
3 for 3.
Yeah, they were 3 for 3. Yeah, they banged them all in immediately. Like they were quick. But it's at least worth, I think, mentioning that those guys never get any time with the extra skater, and on a lot of other teams, most other teams, that's all. Again. I don't want to sound like I'm just like overdoing it with the excuses here, but I think it needs to be noted.
That is a legitimate reason, 100%. Yeah. And when I think in the first round last year, when he had, 10 points in 7 games with the Bruins?
Honestly, I don't know. It's just crazy here.
He was, but 5 of those points were power play points.
Yeah.
Like he is a guy that's played in the power play in his career, and his skill set is one that can work on a power play. And right before the Leafs murdered narrative week, where we were like, oh, it's time to go to 2 units, and Bertuzzi was like, oh, maybe now's my chance. And then it was like, they got 2 in that game against Winnipeg, and now they've scored 4 since coming out of the break. It's like, oh, sorry, Bert, time to sit back down there, buddy. Your chance is now gone. But
you had a sliver of an opportunity.
Yeah. I would just like to see him play with Marner on the power play once in a while or whatever. And you could probably have 4 to 5 more goals this year, at least. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, I think so too. That's all. Again. All right. Excuse making corner is now done. Back to the show. We got to talk about John Wick McCabe, where he just was out for revenge. He was out for revenge after that happened. I get why Marchand didn't do it, but you got to drop the gloves, buddy. Guy, try you blindside a guy like that. You late hit. I know it's a tight game, but McCabe wants to go you after that. His face is all bloodied up. I think you owed him one. I didn't like that. I didn't hate the hit as much as some people did. Let's put it that way. It's not a good hit. It's clearly a missed penalty.
Yeah.
I didn't, but I think you got to give the guy his fight when he wants it. He's
sorry if you're watching on YouTube or Sportsnet Plus. That's me reacting to the hit.
Listen to the podcast. You know that when Sam interrupts the show with say it, it's a big hit every single time.
I got to tell you, I love that because that's such a dying thing in hockey where guys just a beat late and he hammers a guy, and when he had the puck in his stick, like. In 2002, we're on Leafs Talk, streaming on whatever platform we could do it on sport, and we're talking about what a great play by Marchment. It's not, it's on the border, but it was a penalty. Probably could have called it a penalty. And McCabe, his wires cross. He is, I think, on first team all wires cross in the league. Like he is a guy that when something bad happens, he's not the same man. He is a squirrely individual.
Dude, there's the intermission between those plays. Like he had the full intermission to cool off, and he came out immediately and has a shift where he tries to go him and then he bowls him through.
I kind of feel like, he was already after Marchand early in the game, but so came out and played pretty hard in the third period. To me, like they were actually kind of finishing checks and harder on the body and played pretty, good defensive hockey outside of the breakaway they let go behind Giordano and the almost tying goal at the end. I thought they would play pretty solid for the Leaf standards, but I think McCabe went in there spitting blood, and they're all like, Jesus Christ! Like
this guy's an animal.
If we don't play hard, he's gonna hit us. Like we gotta play. So I think McCabe is a really important guy to this team, just the way that he plays, because there's so few guys on the team that have that sort of that quote unquote dog in him. He's just an animal, but he's just a little bit overcast. It was if Benoit and McCabe was like your third pair playing
the most popular third pair
playing 13 to 14 minutes, where you had four other guys that played most of the time, and those two guys just went out there looking for skulls, they'd be putting on Legends Row next week. Like they play a little bit too much for my liking, but I love so much what those two guys bring. And again tonight, and I love the play I love later in the game was Benoit, him and McCabe have really obviously become almost brought out a stretcher for Marchment. Like I
thought Benoit was genuinely one of the best players.
He just missed him. And I loved it, because it's like he clearly is pissed at Marchment too. That's his buddy. That's his D partner. And he's trying to send a message, and he did. So Benoit's been absolutely balling for the Leafs. He's been so good. And you wonder when the next shoe is going to drop. You wonder when this is going to not happen. But
there's no question. There's no question, dude. He's like, he's of critical import to the team. I do think that we're enjoying it so much. And yes, you're right that everybody on this team is miscast except for Morgan Riley at this point, right?
Yeah, you're right. It's a good point.
It's true. Like all of the guys are playing one spot too high. It's one of the biggest. They probably need two defensemen, honestly, but
for sure.
They certainly need one to push guys down. But Benoit, man, where the hell would they be with Lagesson, right? Had Benoit not been a factor, he not been a part of this team. And Lagesson, I think, has been fine and go again. Yeah. Because, listen, we like maybe to pivot off of the Benoit thing is Keefe. Remember when he sat David Kampf and he went, no more defensive boo-boos anymore? He can't do that with the forward group because there's nobody else, right? He's got to go down to the Marlies and get Alex Steve, for God's sakes, if he wants to swap somebody in the lineup. But with the blue Giordano, and I think that after a game where you lost because of a broken play where you let the D get behind you and you said that it was Pee-wee, to have a game-time goal where Giordano gets caught flat-footed on a nice set play by Dallas, whatever, to let the Stars get behind you for the game-tying, well, it wasn't the game-tying goal, but the game-tying play.
Yeah.
I think it's another sit moment for Giordano, unfortunately. Like I do. I don't know it's a certainty that he plays Saturday night. In fact, if I had to guess, I'd probably lean, 60-40 he doesn't play.
Yeah, I think it's fair. And I think if you've been listening to this show since it started, you know both of our thoughts on Mark Giordano and what he's given the Leafs. But it's heading in the other direction here. And it has been for a while. And I think they have a capable guy on the outside in Lagesson who hasn't played. When's the last time he even played? Feels like it's been quite some time. I'm not saying you're benching Gio for the rest of the year here. I'm not saying he's totally
No, they
done.
won't do that. He's too important in the room.
But I think it's time to maybe go one in, one out kind of thing here. December 27th is the last time Lagesson played. That's getting to be a long time here.
Yeah.
I think it's time for a couple old Lagesson games and let Gio rest a bit and hope that it has the effect that the rest had on the other, on Tavares or had.
The thing is, they just came back from the All-Star. Like it didn't happen for Tavares because he was sad. He just came from the All-Star break.
He's getting old. It's past his best before date is probably past. And I don't know. Like, listen, they're going to make some trades here. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't think they're going to go all in or anything. But like, to me, the trade is that you bring in a guy that you can not have Giordano play every night and probably not in the playoffs too. Like he's an option, but he's not a go-to guy for this team on the penalty kill when he's in. Like they're asking way too much of him, and it's showing. So
you know what though? He and Liljegren are both terrible right now. Like Liljegren is
fighting it bad too.
Yeah, it's just he's lost out there. And it was again tonight where it was not a good Liljegren performance. He had a few really, really tough shifts in this game. And yeah, I couldn't help but wonder, think about where he was at last year and what people were thinking that he was going to be in terms of import to this blue line versus where he's at now and how much that's really hurting them.
He's had a very similar trajectory in the last 3 seasons where he's come out and he's been really good for them. And they're like, oh, it's finally starting to happen. And then he goes through these massive dips where
but this year he's had nothing. This year
I'll give him credit. He was better at the start of the year. Then he had that brutal injury when Marchand tripped him into the boards, and he hasn't found it since. So to me, like, is that a Rasmus Sandin situation where he's just one of I know you're subtracting from a blue line that's already thin, but you just bring in somebody different and he goes somewhere else and you get a pick or whatever you get for him. Like, I think we know what he is. Like, is he going to next year jump out somewhere and be like, oh my God, Timothy, he's arrived. Like, I'm pretty comfortable knowing what Timothy Liljegren is at this point. Like, I guess he's still pretty young and maybe he has a longer career after he leaves, but yeah, I don't know, man. It just feels like every season's the same with him.
I'll tell you this is I months ago, I would have thought a Liljegren challenge trade would have been nuts because of the contract and him being still an RFA who's controllable. It's going to be cheap and he's young and he's decent and he's shown flashes and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I don't know how anybody could be heartbroken if you put him in a challenge trade at this point, right? Or like a very similar trade to the one that you're talking about, the Sandin deal, where you get.
Well, you're not going to get a first for him, though.
No, you're not.
He doesn't have the upside that Sandin does. You can't. No,
but an asset. I'm saying like you're getting back a real asset. Like, okay, let's put it this way. If you could get a second for him and reroute that second for Tanev, like you'd do that in a heartbeat. Yet I don't think Calgary wouldn't do him for a second. Like something along those lines is what I'm saying. Is that's what I would be talking about with a Liljegren type of trade. Anyway,
Sean Monahan got a first-round pick. Sean Walker, they're asking for a first-round pick. You're not getting Tanev for not a first-rounder. That's the terrifying part of this.
Well, guess what? I'm hoping that they don't end up with Tanev.
I agree.
Not now. I hope that I'm good if they sign him. But yeah, the trade, I've never been on record this entire time. Like I do not want to trade a first-round pick for.
I'm coming to your side, buddy. I agree.
So one last major plot point from this game for me is just simply the penalty kill in the second period was beyond massive. Like, awesome, but huge. Because if we're doing alternate reality times, you and I were texting, all right? If we're unleashing the text, there was a moment in this game early where the Leafs are getting outshot and outplayed by Dallas. And I thought Dallas did fade in the second period. Like they looked more like a team, but it was Scott Wedgwood in net. And the Stars were given some good push. And then they get this power play. And I thought, man, if they score here, right? Like if they grab this one and all of a sudden the Leafs are behind, I felt like we were fully back in Sheldon Keefe fire
Keefe
talk.
watch.
Like it felt that way, dude. Like it really did in that moment. And his team stepped up and they gave him a great kill. And again, it was a lot of the Stars that were complicit in it. So good for them. But I thought that this was actually kind of the hinge moment of the game, if you will.
For sure. I think the penalty kill over the last 2 games without 2 of their guys that are most important to it, and Calle Yarncroc and David Kampf, has actually been pretty solid. And I'll give them credit. Like tonight, they were pretty good. I think, this is a recipe. This is how you win a playoff game is your power play is good and your penalty kill is good. Like how many times have we sat here after not here specifically, but after
we watch all the Leafs games. After all the 4-4 for a long time. We've done a lot of the narratives.
I just meant like the playoff series in general, even before we've done this show, is that it always comes down to special teams, and the other team has better special teams than the Leafs. And it's like their power play dries up at the worst possible time. It's like you see tonight where they have a good power play, the penalty kill is solid, their core 4s are scoring. This is how you win the playoffs. This is the exact type of recipe. You don't give up 4, obviously. Maybe you hope it's more of a 3-2 score than 5-4, but this is the type of game that you like the look of.
Yeah, Samsonov obviously lets in 4 tonight, but did you have a problem with the game at all? Oh, you did. You got the face.
I think it was the first game since he's been back that I had visions of old Sammy, I would say. Like there was like for longer stretches, there was little quiet moments in the other games where I got a little bit worried, but I had to see all the goals back here. I don't know if you want to roll. I didn't like the goal that made it 5-4. I thought that was a one that gets through his glove. Probably need that save. This one's a tough one. First power play goal. It's Ben right between the hash marks. Not going to kill him for that. Shoot, penalty shot. He's terrible on breakaways. He's really not good in the shootout and breakaways. The guys really seem to have a book on him. He's fine. I don't think he was the reason. Like if they had I wouldn't give him a ton of credit for the win. I didn't think he was awful, but wouldn't say I loved the game. Is that okay? Yeah. Is that fair?
He let in 4 goals. I think you're jumping at the bit to crush him.
No, I don't care. I really don't care. Yeah. I don't have a dog in this fight. Like I don't care about any of the goalies. Just save it. Yeah. Like I don't care. I don't care if Wall goes in there is good. I don't care if Martin Jones is good. I got no axe to grind. Just
see, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it, and the only reason why is because he's still not swimming around. Like he was let in a bunch of goals tonight, but he didn't look like Samsonov, the head case, just flying around his crease, and like every shot is a dangerous rebound off of him. Like still felt like he was poised in the net. I don't really feel like there was a stinker in the bunch. Like the goalie that let in the worst goal tonight was by far Wedgwood on the power play goal by Tavares.
Would like that one. Yeah, would have liked that one there. That's a wrister from the top of the circle. It beats him glove side. Would have liked that one, but it's okay. They didn't. I thought, like you said, he's not swimming as bad as he usually is. Thought he was towards the end of the game a little bit more disjointed, but
definitely want to have that one. A lot of traffic, tons, but
also Wyatt Johnson, local guy for an out of market team, comes in and scores. Gave that pick out today. Real Kipper and Bourne. Bet Wyatt Johnson goal plus 260. Yeah. So Samdol the handle's back, buddy. I'm just giving out winning picks. Although 2 of my picks I gave out yesterday to win, but that's okay.
I gotta tell you though that plus 260, the book that I use, I got a better number than that because I also
did you bet it? Attaboy. Yeah. Attaboy.
Plus 320 for it. I didn't even see your show. I like that bet.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like it was a nice. Yeah, it was. Anyway, nice bet, nice pick.
Thank you.
Very, very nice. Yes, Sandal the handle is back after being the coldest man in the universe who went like literally
yesterday too. I gave out. The only one I didn't do yesterday. I gave 2 same game parlays. I bet the one that we did on the Vancouver, but I gave out Kuzmenko goal Flames win, and I didn't bet it was plus 625. Yeah, brutal.
See, you and I both did have the Lindholm goal yesterday.
Yeah.
Win. We liked the Canucks at the plus number, but we had to get greedy and throw a Mikheyev point in there. So that was all you too, because Mikheyev. I was like, and you knew who you were talking to, the Mikheyev lover of all lovers, the guy who was his biggest apologist in town. And of course, I was willing to dial that one up. Anyways, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. I'll be giving out a lot of picks this week for Super Bowl. I've been doing props every single day this week. By the way, tomorrow on my pod, Leafs rumors with Frank Saravelli and also Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, the former Chiefs offensive line. Yeah, sick. About playing with Mahomes a little bit, and when they won the Super Bowl, and then won the Super Bowl, and then pandemic happened, and then he went and became a doctor. It's like pretty big ship. Guy got paid a huge amount of money and won a Super Bowl. He's like, I'm great. I'm gonna go be a doctor. It's like, wonder how he feels watching the Chiefs in the Super Bowl right now. Like, God.
The last thing I have, because I wanted to do a quick, because it's our last show for the Super Bowl. We don't have a show on Saturday night. I want to do a quick question.
This is a quick PSA. Just, hey, we don't have a show on Saturday night. I'm going to my friend Ben's 40th birthday party, Ben Ennis. So wish him a happy birthday if you're a fan.
Wow, he's old.
Yeah, he's real old. Guess what?
Ancient.
Yeah. It's gonna feel good there at his birthday.
Yeah, you're a youth compared to him.
Yeah, no, I was a baby. Sweet little baby boy.
And then I will say every Leaf fan's life flashed before their eyes when Morgan Riley got crunched into the boards.
Oh my God, dude.
Holy. And it was a weird one.
Like his legs went straight, and so did my heart.
They banged together weird, and it was a hard hit. And there was like a moment later in the game where he was flexing it out, where he just burned Sagan in a foot race a little bit later. And I was like, okay, he's back. It's fine. But yeah, that was a horrifying moment for Leaf fans everywhere. Because you lose him, you might lose the playoffs.
Scary.
Last one before we go here. I don't know. Have you given out an official pick? Yeah, so
no, but I mean, I did tweet the second literally the second the matchup got announced.
Yeah.
I put a pretty massive bet on the Chiefs at a plus number because I bet the Ravens. And the feeling I had of betting against Mahomes in that first half, that feeling I had was like
horrible,
among my lowest. I can't imagine sitting with someone who didn't watch sports and they were like, so that's the best guy maybe ever? They're like, yeah. They're like,
and why did you?
And you could have gotten, how betting works is the favorite team. And I would go, yeah. And they would say, and you fancy yourself someone who watches a lot of sports, talks about sports for a living and gambling and I was like, yeah. And I've been Googling like giant rugs to put
you bet on the guy in purple with the noodle arm who gets scared every time there's a rush. You bet on that guy?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I put a very heavy bet on the Chiefs, and I am I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan. I truly, deeply hate the San Francisco 49ers. So, yeah, if the Niners win the Super Bowl and I lose a criminal amount of money to be betting, I have a tough day. I put in a lot of props. Again, follow on Instagram at JD Bunkus. I've been putting in my favorite props of the week. I shared a couple of them today, so I'm going to compile those all for Sunday. But yeah, I got a million bets. Like
the thing to me is I can go to sleep at night losing on betting on Mahomes. If Mr. Irrelevant's going to beat one of the best all time in the Super Bowl, good on him, and I can live with that. But I can't bet on the worst pick, the last pick in the draft against Patrick Mahomes. And hey, you know my theory, and I won a lot of money in the Bucks versus the Chiefs Super Bowl. Never bet against the Zebras, baby. Never bet against them Zebras. And you know they want that little Taylor little smoochy, Taylor and Travis.
I forgot you and I were on opposite sides.
Oh yeah. And I was going refs go refs go.
So happy, and I was so miserable because you bet like nothing, and I thousands of dollars.
I won like $650 during that.
Yeah, I know you. It was electric. Right. You were so happy, and I was just
drunk. First touchdown. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was good. That was a good one. All right. Subscribe to the podcast, leave 5 stars, hit the thumbs up, and follow on Twitter and Instagram. Do all those things, and we will see you on next Tuesday night.
Blues.
What? Blues. Yeah, Blues game because no Leafs talk on Saturday night. All right. We'll see you Tuesday.
You've been listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
SiriusXM NFL Radio's coverage continues before Super Bowl 58. Hear an all-access pass from Las Vegas as we talk with Hall of Famers, Super Bowl legends, and the stars of the NFL.
That's exactly where you want to be, right? Preparing for the Super Bowl.
Our panel of experts will get you ready for Super Bowl 58 between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. All week on SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
I'm with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning.
Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
You think is that you can't. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. Becomes a huge challenge.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app.
NHL All-Star Weekend returns to Toronto, and SiriusXM NHL.
The quick shot scores! Matthews! Lost for Crosby for the HP. He's good!
Hear conversations with all-star players and coaches. All-Star Media Day, player drive, skills competition, and play-by-play of the 2024 All-Star Game. 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend live. Beginning February 1st on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe in the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with him and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Go family home will have all the modern features you dream about, even a fully finished lower level. Kitchener's parks and a new library. Williamsburg Green has it all. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like salivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate. As in, while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating. Subaru dealer today. And welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, I'll move day. Think 2-minute truck, 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
You've been listening to NHL Play-by-Play on Sirius XM. Head over to Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, for the best hockey talk.
Channels 91 Internet 947, Stars on Internet 929. 7:30 p.m. New York Rangers face the Tampa Bay Lightning. Rangers on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 939. Lightning Blackhawks take on the Minnesota Wild. Blackhawks on Sirius and XM Channels 91 Internet 926, Wild on Internet 934. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Wednesday, February the 7th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 7 p.m., Toronto Maple Leafs take on the Dallas Stars. Leafs on Sirius and XM Channels 91 Internet 947, Stars on Internet 920.